let's just go to the pregame commercial while we chat about what we open up with. Okay.
At Toyota's national sales event, we don't just help you get the perfect vehicle. We're here to open new doors that lead to your road to greatness. Your journey starts at Toyota's national sales event.
Toyota, let's go places.
I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, it was an easy process, is readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
The injuries look like those seen in people exposed to poisons like mustard gas.
That's how doctors are describing what they see in the lungs of vapors.
The chemicals can essentially burn your lungs. Find the truth at BehindTheHaze.com.
Banking. Maybe you enjoy the person-to-person attention you get going to your bank. Maybe you enjoy the convenience of banking from home sweet home. Or maybe you like the flexibility of paying your bills, applying for a loan, or talking to your personal banking person from wherever fits your fancy. Then definitely, you should bank at Mountain West Bank. Member FDIC. The easy, convenient, any way you want to bank.
I'm Dr. Christine Hahn. I'm an infectious disease doctor, and I'm Idaho's medical director for public health. It's my mission to keep our communities healthy and safe. That's why I believe every Idahoan should get their COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine's been tested. It's proving to be very safe, and it's the most effective tool we have to stop the spread.
Walk into a pharmacy or visit covidvaccine.idaho.gov to find your free COVID-19 vaccine.
A hit in the morning, another between class, after school, and more before bed. Vaping sucks you in quick. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems everyone's talking about. That's why thousands of teens are ready to take back their life their own way with My Life, My Quit. When you sign up with us, you'll get a free and simple quit plan that makes it easier to stop vaping. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 360.
Let's make sure the audio's not. All right, let's go for it.
Or do you want to go higher?
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to another IdahoSports.com broadcast. Here today, last night, Jason and I were down in the LC Valley for Lewiston versus Cuna, but today we're back in the stands as Logos prepares to take on Timberline out of Weippe. And Jason, this is a momentous occasion here for this Logos program, as this is their first ever varsity football game. Quite a big day.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting day with some new energy that they're going to have. They've been playing at the JV level, but now they're going to step it up to the varsity.
Absolutely, and they've got no small task today as they are taking on the Timberline Spartans out of Weippe. Timberline last year was a playoff team, going 4-4 on the season. But those numbers, that record might not sound flashy, but Jason, boy, was their offense flashy last season.
Yes, they were able to put up some big-time points, even crossing the 70-point mark, getting up to 72 on one of those occasions. It's going to be a little bit of them finding some rhythm. They either scored a bunch or let the other team score a bunch on some of those games.
Now, the thing to consider here is we look at the roster sizes. For Logos, their roster at least doubles that of Timberline. So I guess the question for Timberline is going to be how long they can keep their energy up. So conditioning is going to be key.
Conditioning is going to be key, and you hate to say this early in the season weather's going to be a factor, but the fact that we're out here on a beautiful sunny day for the fans, but underneath the pads and the helmets, it might be a little bit of a toll. So that roster size might play a factor in this.
Absolutely. Now, Jason, look at this backdrop that we're showing the fans. If you maybe want to pan out a little bit on the mountains in the background, we've got ourselves some beautiful scenery for some football here on a Saturday. Now, Logos a little bit different. They have a couple of Saturday games on their schedule, or typically we're looking at some Friday night action.
Yeah, changing it up a little bit, but also, this is a beautiful setting, and to give a shout out to Timberline W, they too have a beautiful setting up there in the mountains.
That's just what we got here in District 2. Brandon Bainey and I have discussed this on the Palouse Prepcast for IdahoSports.com, and it's just no exception here today. Logos adding another beautiful venue to this setting in this region. Well, let's go over the officials for today's game. District 2 game officials, we have referee Dan Davenport, umpire Paul Elston, linesman Jeff Shrewsbury, and field judge Jamin Udi. Jason, you've been a coach in this district for quite some time. Any of those names ring a bell?
Yeah, I may have barked at a couple of them, and Jamin and I go way back. He played for me way back in the old days when I was just a young pup. So, it's going to be fun, and the referees are going to have to hydrate too, because they might have to be doing some laps out here.
Absolutely. Did you make them run at all?
Jamin, yeah.
That's right.
He probably ran a couple of laps.
So, Jason, one thing we like to do before the game kicks off is we like to talk about maybe some players that we want to keep an eye on. First, let's start with the Timberline side of things. Again, they went 4-4 last year. They put up a lot of points on offense, going 4-4. And then won the game against Salmon River that you mentioned. They put up 72 points on the competition. So who are some players that our fans at home should be keeping an eye on?
I think without a doubt you're going to hear Bonner's name a number of times, and then the Christofferson kids back to back, and those O linemen, D linemen are going to have to get in the war in the trenches, and it may be, again, like we mentioned, from Timberline side, kind of being 3-on-1.
And on the Logos side, I know a couple of these guys personally here, as they're part of my church community. We got Jackson Crapuchettes, wide receiver, the senior. And then we've got on the offensive line, I think this is going to be key for Logos here, is who can control the trenches. You got to like the looks of number 80, River Sumter, the senior center.
Yeah, I think you're right. That offense, defensive line, it's so cliche because it's so true. Who's going to do what? They're right there in the trenches from the get-go.
And we've just got the PA announcement starting underway, so we are making our way here to game time. And I think what we're going to do here is we're going to take a break because the national anthem is going to be coming up. There is also going to be a word of prayer here. Logos is obviously a Christian school, so we're going to step aside for that. We'll be right back here on IdahoSports.com. Stay tuned, folks.
And then we have food refreshments, Wilburger over...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Logos Field here in Moscow, Idaho. Again, we've got quite the beautiful scenery in the background there as you're looking at the rolling wheat hills there. And then, of course, in the background, you got the Moscow Mountains as well. So, Jason, something pretty cool just happened. Typically, when a national anthem is either played audio or it's sang by one person. But not here at Logos. Here at Logos, the entire crowd got into the singing of the national anthem. That was pretty cool.
Yes, they did a great job. I was just sitting quietly trying to take it all in. I didn't want to ruin the equipment. So, but you're right. It was a good-spirited event.
It's probably for the best the fans didn't hear us joining in on that. So, if any ado, right now we're having the starting lineups of both teams being introduced on the field. And we touched on it earlier. Timberline's got a little bit smaller of a team here. Logos's roster is about double the size. People will touch on how Logos, this is their first ever varsity game. But Jason, this team has been together a little bit longer than just 1 year.
Yeah, and they've played. They do have a history of football way back in the old days. They did play with Genesee as kind of a co-op situation, late 90s, early 2000s, and then they played some JV recently, and then they've been able to get some experience and play some White Pine League teams, and now they're ready to make that next step to be at the varsity level. Mostly time under Friday night lights, but right out here in the nice afternoon sun.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful day out today, as it's probably pushing 70, 75 degrees. A very light breeze coming in from time to time as both teams now look prepared to hit the field. And this Logos team, as far as experience goes, they've gotten a lot of seniors here. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 seniors on this team. Obviously, which of them is going to see the field? That's another question, but still, a lot of veterans on this team.
Well, and that's probably why it's just been timed perfectly for them to make that next step with all that experience. It's kind of been battle tested through the JV program, and now ready to step out here in the varsity.
So, with the starting lineups out of the way, the pregame prayer out of the way, the national anthem has been sung by the community here. It's time for some football. So the captains are going to make their way out, and we're going to get to see who's going to start with possession first. Jason, in your time as a head football coach, what did you like to do first when it came to starting a game off? Did you like to start on defense so you know how to respond as well as getting the ball in the second half, or did you really like to take the ball and go?
Well, I'll say this. Generally, it's going to be a cop-out, but I could generally let the mood of the kids decide. So if they thought that they wanted to get first blood, that's what we used to call it, get that ball into the end zone. If we thought we wanted to set an offensive tone early, that's what we'd want to do. And then if you wanted to get some hit stickers, then we'd want to put the defense out there. I think tonight, or this afternoon rather, because it's so hot, I would probably tend to want the ball first, because I think you're going to wear out a little bit here as the day progresses, and so I think that's going to be key to the day. So we'll see what the guys do. It's probably one of those where Logos being in the dark, brand new jersey, looking really sharp, but underneath the sun, it might be a little bit hotter than the West Virginia look from across the way with the yellow.
That was right. We were talking about that on the ride home last night. It's a Penn State versus West Virginia look here on IdahoSports.com.
And it is a Saturday, so let's do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Double dip here. So Logos was picked to finish last in the White Pine League this year, and I think that may be a bit of a underestimation here by their competition as we look at this team here. The White Pine, Jason, you know it very well, very competitive league. What's your outlook this season? Who are some teams that jump out to you that could be a big threat?
Well, I'd be a goofball if I wouldn't start with Prairie, but it's one of those where, I think Logos could probably hang that last place prediction in the locker room and the hallways. Coach Holloway here is going to be able to bring some experience. The guys have been battle tested. They're going to probably use that as a motivator. I think it's going to be a lot of people right there in the middle. I'm not sure who's last, but I think there's going to be a lot of people vying to try and chip away at Prairie. And there's a number of teams: CV, Kamei, Lapway has some incredible athletes that are now playing, and so it's going to be an interesting league all the way around. It looks like Logos is going to start with the ball.
Now, Jason, one thing we touched on in last night's game between Lewiston and Kuna is both teams seem to get off to a bit of a slow start, and that's often the case when it comes to offensive side of things. There's a lot more choreography involved with an offensive play call, and so Logos coming out pretty bold here.
Yeah, and I think it's probably the right setting. You want to get some offense going. We talked about the heat and the fact that your offensive linemen can start leaning on that defensive line, which is, with that kind of roster, you're going to have to see them twice. And so I think that's a great call. And it's going to be an interesting thing to see what that conditioning is like amongst the guys in the trenches.
So both teams now making their way onto the field. Kickoff is just moments away here. Logos, their first ever varsity game here, a big milestone for this program. Timberline is going to be kicking it off to them, going left to right here on your screen. Timberline in the gold uniforms with the black helmets. Logos with the Penn State look, the navy blue and the white helmets. And we've got ourselves a pretty full capacity crowd here. Beautiful setting in Moscow, Idaho. And here we go. Timberline sends it over to Logos and back deep to receive for a couple of nights. Well, that's number 12. And he's brought down after a pretty short return there. So the Logos Knights will start their first drive of varsity football close to the 15-yard line. Excellent coverage there from the Timberline Spartans. That ball kind of took a wacky bounce.
It did take a wacky bounce. We talked and looked at last night with the special teams play being a little out of sorts at times, and so you wonder if the kicker meant to do that or it just happened.
Yeah, that was number 50, Gavin Christopher. 1st and 10, ball on the 15-yard line. Knights come out in what looks to be an I formation here, or a pistol formation, rather. Receiver goes in motion across the set there. Handoff right up the middle, and that's a first down and more. Excellent first play here for Logos as they are now heading towards midfield.
Yeah, it was linemen didn't really put their hands down, which you don't have to do, but it created those big, long, wide splits for them to find that nice run lane.
Now quarterback Jackson Driscoll runs to the sideline to get the play here. Timberline comes out to line up. Now, fans, last time we were covering an 11-man game. Today, you're getting some 8-man action, and obviously there's a lot more open field, which could lead to some big plays here. We've got 3 wide receivers in the set here in this pistol look. Driscoll in the pistol with a running back behind him. Man-to-man look here from the Spartans. Receiver in motion across the formation. Driscoll takes the snap, looking, throws it over the top. He's got an open target, and just out of reach. That was the senior wide receiver, Roman Nutbrock, the intended target. Boy, Jason, that was close.
Yeah, that was close. I think they'd like to have that one back, and I bet we see that play pretty soon again.
So that's going to bring up 2nd and 10. Ball is on the 40-yard line, directly on the 40-yard line after that first opening run play. Compared to the Lewiston team we covered last night, Logos taking their time a little bit in comparison, and that's just okay.
Yep, actually using a huddle once in a while.
Again, that pistol formation, that looks like that's going to be the base set here for Logos. And the snap is over the head there. Some miscommunication. It looked as though Driscoll was trying to get the snap there sooner, so there was obviously maybe some miscommunication on the snap count or just the play in general.
Looks like they might have had a flag on that, which actually probably works out in Logos' benefit there. There's no scramble for the ball and a big-time loss and loss of down. They get to keep that 2nd down.
Absolutely. Delay of game there, the call. 2nd and 15 now after the penalty. 2 receivers in the set there and a hatchback look from the Knights. And that hatchback will go in motion. And there's a flag down on the play as the pass from Driscoll's incomplete. And that was an illegal shift there.
Yeah, and you mentioned the early jitters. Everybody's excited to get out here, play football. We noted that this is the first varsity game, but it's also the first game of the year, so everybody's going to be excited about doing their different situations. So just hold your water and wait for the snap.
Penalty is declined, as that would have kept it 2nd down, so now it is 3rd and 15. Not a lot of plays in the playbook for 3rd and 15, Jason.
Oh, do we come back and see that little pass over the top here?
I like it. 3rd and 15. 11 minutes to go here in quarter number 1. Driscoll in the pistol. Blitz from the side. Driscoll throws over the top, just like Jason called it. It's caught! Sullivan Howard will take it the distance. Touchdown, Logos. Their first ever varsity drive ends in 6.
Nice job. Nice play development. Way to be patient and learn from the incomplete on the last one. So that's a good job on their part.
What a deep bomb over the top there. Not a bad way to start some varsity football here for Logos. And so, as typically seen in 8-man football, they're going to go for 2. You rarely see the kick team come out in this kind of in the 8-man side of things. Pistol formation once again here. And they take the snap, hand it right off the middle, and it's good for 2. That was number 43, Aiden Elmore on the run, the senior running back. And it is now 8-0 in favor of Logos. Jason, what an opening drive for the first touchdown in varsity football history.
For sure. They're showing some experience. Even though this is the first varsity game, they do have those experienced older kids. And way to use that experience in this situation. Now it's time for Timberline to get settled in. They kind of got in a rush there on defense, and so it's going to be important for them to answer, as we looked at last night, where they have to make sure that it's blow for blow if you're going to stay in this football game.
That drive took about a minute and a half. And they eventually punched it in for 6, and then the 2-point conversion. So now Timberline, as Jason mentioned, coming out onto the field for their first drive. Fans, are you interested in joining the team here at IdahoSports.com? We're always on the lookout, for talented people that want to get involved in what we do. Salespeople, producers, camera operators, writers, photographers, even broadcasters. You could be doing what Jason and I are doing right now. Email editor at IdahoSports.com to find out more. So Logos now on the field, ready to kick things off here and let Timberline get their first crack at it. We've got Spartans versus Knights out on the field right now. So Liev Comis set to kick things off here. And Comis will just do a little bit of pooch there. It was touched by a Timberline player. It's picked up by Logos.
Well, we talked about first game jitters, that situation where the big guy up front puts his hand on it, which doesn't really matter. It went the 10 yards that's necessary. It's really one of those where you just got to be able to fall on that ball. You can't advance a kick if you're the kicking team on that, but you can gain possession, which we just saw.
So the muffed kick there results in another possession here for Logos before things could even get started for Timberline. Logos once again coming out in that pistol formation. 2 receivers to the bottom of the screen here. Got Liev Comis as well as Roman Nutbrock. Comis goes in motion. They hand it off here once again to Aiden Elsmore, who bounces off a couple of tacklers. He tries to cut it back inside, has some blockers, gets to the second level, spins forward, and is brought down finally by the Spartans, but he is inside the 20-yard line.
Excellent job by that young man, securing the ball, keeping his feet moving. It's going to be important for those offensive linemen not to watch, but to just stay on their block and stay sticky.
So 1st and 10, once again in the red zone here for Logos.
No, I can't draw. That's all I draw. Usually, when you close one eye,
Driscoll in the pistol rather. 4 down linemen this time. Comis goes in motion across the formation. They take the snap, hand it off once again to Elsmore. They kept it on the ground there, but he is brought down in the backfield. This time, Timberline was ready for it.
Yeah, and if you're a Timberline fan, that's the experience you're hoping to see. Now that the game's going on, you start settling in a little bit and not being mystified by some of this misdirection.
So that was a loss of 2 on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd and 12. Ball is spotted inside the 20. Driscoll in the pistol once again. Elmore behind him. 2 receivers to the bottom here. Nutbrock and Comis respectively. Timberline showing pressure off the edge, but it's caught once again. He dives inside, and he may have a hole all the way to the outside. What a run! Touchdown, Logos! 2 drives, 2 scores.
Yeah, the crowd is a little unsure of why he dove back inside and looped around a little bit like a video game, but he knew the path.
Absolutely, and an excellent follow-up blocking there from Logos as they pursued the play downfield and finished it off. That touchdown catch and run was brought in by number 12, Liev Comis. So 2 touchdown passes already from Jackson Driscoll, the sophomore quarterback. Driscoll once again in the pistol. Elmore behind him at running back. Everyone on the line this time for Logos. Comis goes in motion across the formation. This time they hand it off to Elmore, who tries to follow the blocker of Comis, and it's in. Both 2-point conversions are good. And Jason, that could pay dividends down the road here.
Yeah, we talked about how it may feel like a marathon at the end of this hot day. And after getting 2 possessions and 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points before the Timberline offense has even had 1 play, that may be the points in the bank they need.
And, folks, while we have a break in the action here, some great action, by the way, we have an ad from P1FCU. Show your spirit and unleash your school colors with a debit MasterCard from P1FCU. With their exclusive high school and college designs, you can represent your school with pride. To join the P1FCU Mascot Madness, visit P1FCU.org to see all their designs. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938. Insured by NCUA. And fans, we are in the bleachers, as you can tell.
It's a little up close and personal.
So
here.
Sometimes we'll be greeted by our lovely fans.
That's right. We'll have some mock-up guests.
But that's just how packed these bleachers are at this point in time, which is great to see for opening day here of Logos football. So this time around, once again, we have Liev Comis, whose last kick was muffed by that front line of Timberline.
I think the Coach Christofferson over there is probably thinking, just get us the ball. We want a good return, but get us the ball so we get on offense.
It was Jaron Christofferson who couldn't get a handle on it last time. So we'll see what Logos does this time. Timberline has 2 back deep to receive, but this one's a little bit of a pooch kick to that midline. It's taken by number 8 from Timberline. That was Micah Nelson, the senior, but he's wrestled out of bounds. Good coverage and tackle there from Logos, and it's really tough to get anything going from that position.
That's true, but at the same time, that's some really good field position. So not quite at midfield, but they got some good field position, and if nothing else, at least they're on offense.
It's going to be 1st and 10. Ball on the 43-yard line to start the first drive for Timberline. And this is the first chance we're going to get to see Timberline's offense here as they come out in a I formation from the looks of it. Or it's a pistol, rather, with 2 running backs behind him. And they'll hand it off right up the middle. And he's brought down after a pickup of 4. That was number 22, Rylan West, the sophomore running back.
I like the call, just kind of getting some momentum on their side of the ball. Don't get too fancy and try and get it all back in one play. Just get some yards and get some offensive possession going.
So pick up a 4 there. It's going to bring up 2nd and 6. Ball now at the 47-yard line. Once again, they come out in that elongated I formation, as it were. Every other personnel for the Spartans is down on that line of scrimmage. They're going to pitch it to West once again. West tries to bounce it outside, but he's not able to do so. And he's brought down out of bounds by a couple of Knights. That was number 12 initially on the tackle, Liev Comis.
Yep. Logos kind of created that same momentum on defense where they're just all rallying into the ball and doing their jobs.
So that's going to bring up 3rd and 5. Logos could very well be trying to get the ball back right away. On Timberline's first drive here, Timberline hoping to keep things going. 16-0 the score with 8:25 to go here. Quarterback back to pass. That's number 3, Parker Brown, who's looking. He doesn't have anybody open. Great coverage downfield from Logos. He's being pressured and finally brought down. Rivers Sumter drops the hammer.
Yeah, quarterback was trying to remind his guys to keep blocking. I still have the ball, and we're still on offense, but probably a nice job just not fumbling it and getting the ball with all that hot pursuit from the Logos Knights.
And that is going to make it 4th and long here for Timberline. So Logos is ready to receive a punt here. Senior Liev Comis, also wearing number 12, back deep to receive. But he's going to come back in here as Logos wants to be sure that this is actually a punt. It looks like it is.
Yeah, it is a different formation. I'm guessing this is a punt.
Darren Bonner set to punt, but he muffs the handle there. And he's trying to make something out of nothing, and he's brought down in the backfield. So nothing going right for right now when it comes to Timberline.
Yeah, but good job for Logos, just doing your assignments, keeping the ball contained on 4th and long, and getting back on offense.
So once again, this Logos offense, which has been potent today, to say the least, takes the field once again. It's going to be 1st and 10. Ball spotted at the 39-yard line. So once again, in starting things off in Timberline territory. Three receivers in the set. Got doubles to the top. Driscoll in the pistol. He's got a running back behind him. Timberline shows pressure. And they do a sweep this time to no avail, and the ball came free, but Comus was able to just fall right on top of it, and there is a flag down.
Not sure if that's an illegal shift again, but again, probably just happy to have the ball back on that one.
So that's going to be a loss of a couple there. Yep, illegal motion appears to be the call, which is going to be a penalty.
Which for Logos fans, that means you... Oh, they declined it. Okay, all right. I was going to say, if they take the penalty, then you get your down back, which would have been better. But this makes it 2nd and long.
So a loss of about 7 or 8 there. Not the way you want to start this next drive. Logos is going to send a receiver in motion there. That's Solomon Howard, who had the touchdown earlier today. Deep pass from Driscoll over the top to Nutbrock again, and he's not able to come up with it. That is the 2nd time they've targeted Nutbrock on a pass like that, and both times almost got there.
Yeah, and this time Timberline seemed to have it a little more dialed in. This is going to be the down and distance that Timberline's going to hope to build some momentum off them for themselves this 3rd and long.
It's almost 3rd and 20 from the looks of it here, according to the sticks on the other side of the field there. 16-0 in favor of Logos. 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Driscoll in the pistol. Driscoll takes the snap. He's going to fake the handoff, roll to his left there. It's caught by Solomon Howard. Howard gets to the outside, tries to spin back inside, unable to do so, and he's brought down by number 7, Darren Bonner. And he almost got back to the first down marker, which is going to bring up a decision here for Logos.
Yeah, that's a nice call. Makes it a lot more manageable.
And we have an official timeout here as they actually may want to take a look at this. So they're going to bring the chains out to see if this is, in fact, a first down or not.
Big time effort by that running back right there, or receiver, I should say, where he did do all that fighting and was well worth it, potentially.
Yes, again, that was number 8, Solomon Howard, the senior receiver on the catch and run. And we'll see what they tallied out to. It's just short by the looks of it. But still, nonetheless, the fact that he was able to get the ball to that spot, we're going to have a decision to make here from Logos. And judging by the position on the field, you'd think they would go for it here. And the offense is staying out.
Yeah, I would think so too. And this is going to be an important down for Timberline to get a stop and try and get themselves back on offense, considering that they haven't done a lot of that yet.
And they've still got the sticks out there.
Yeah, they got to position it on the hash, which is a little hard to see. Maybe it's the sun, maybe it's the camera angle. But got to get it away from the sideline on this.
Yeah,
otherwise
poor camera.
Yeah, that's right.
Poor camera work here. So, Logos is going to go for it here. 4th and very short. Driscoll's back in the gun once again.
Wide field to the top of the screen.
Everybody's in on the line here on both sides of the ball. The Spartans are looking to send the blitz here. And Logos looks like they're set up for a run. And Morrill takes the handoff, bounces it to the outside. He's into the open a little bit, but he's brought down from behind. Excellent pursuit from the Spartans. That was number 88, Jason Mole, on the tackle, the senior.
Yeah, nice job rallying up, but it does get the first down, looks like. So that means that going to have to keep on defense here if you're Timberline.
This Logos drive will continue. They have essentially possessed the ball the entire game thus far, which that's a pretty good formula for picking up your first win here.
That's right. Just stay on offense.
So 1st and 10, ball's inside the 30. Driscoll takes the snap. He's going to fake the handoff here. Looks over the top, a post corner. Beautifully run, and it's incomplete. That could have been the Logos side here is calling for a penalty.
We saw a couple of those last night. If you're Logos, obviously it was pass interference, and if you're Timberline, it's great defense.
Roman Nutbrock, the intended target. He has been targeted 3 times deep downfield, so he's obviously the deep threat here for the Knights. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Driscoll. Driscoll takes the snap. They're going to fake the handoff again. And this time he finds his receiver in open space. And he's brought down after, looks like he picked up the first down there. That was number 18, Jackson Crapuchettes, on the reception.
Yeah, it looked like there was a couple of defenders in the area, but he was able to break loose and secure the ball and get a nice gain.
So we are now almost at 1st and goal, but the ball is just outside the 10-yard line. Brought down, they'll spot this at the 11. So 1st and 10. Driscoll has running back behind him. That is number 43, Aiden Elmore. Solomon will go in motion there. Elmore jumps forward, and he's brought down hard. That was number 66, Lane Downing, the sophomore, on the tackle.
Yeah, nice job finding a lane right there and getting that ball stopped. They still got a nice gain out of it, but at least they weren't in the end zone on one play.
It's going to bring up 2nd and 5. 5 yards on the previous carry. Elmore once again in the backfield behind Driscoll. 2 receivers to the top on the wide side of the field. That's Crapuchettes and Howard up top. Driscoll takes the snap. He's going to look that way, but he comes back to the other side. It's caught by Nutbrock. Roman Nutbrock finally cashes in. That's his 4th pass attempt there to him, and they're finally able to make the connection.
An excellent job high pointing it, meaning he jumped up, got it with his fingertips up high, secured the ball, came down with it. Nice job by that young man.
And that makes it 22-0 here in favor of Logos, pending the 2-point conversion.
I'm guessing they're going for 2.
That's right. They have thus far. They give me no reason to doubt. Sumter at center. Driscoll takes the snap, hands it off to Elmore right up the middle. He's got a hole, and he powers his way in for the 2-point conversion. Logos has succeeded on all 3 2-point conversions thus far today.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job. They had a little bit of mystery on some of those first early plays, but after that they've settled in nicely and being very efficient on offense. Now it's going to have to be important for Timberline to not only get some offensive plays here, get some points, obviously, because the scoreboard's against you, but they're probably going to have to pick up their defensive pressure a little bit. Can we go after? Sure, thank you.
Man, Logos is taking care of us, folks. We get some burgers at halftime. Forget the halftime show. We're just going to be picking out.
That's right. We'll turn the sound down. Otherwise, it'll just be...
Folks, for those of you watching at home, we are now offering direct downloads of our game streams. Within 72 hours after the live broadcast, you can now download the archive files straight to your computer. It's a great way to make these memories last a lifetime. Just click the download icon in the top right corner of your screen for more information. Again, here on IdahoSports.com. And now, Logos, after 3 successful touchdown drives, is going to kick it off once again to Timberline. Timberline has really only had the ball for 3 plays. It's just an utter domination thus far by Logos.
Yes, and they've been kicking it short on purpose, which kind of creates some confusion between the first row and the second row of the kick return team by Timberline.
Logos set to kick here. And they've had a muffed kick before, and this is going to be a little pooch. Kind of an awkward one there. It's caught by Timberline, and he's brought down immediately. Jason, that almost came off his foot like a punt.
It does. One thing to remember is that the offense has first crack at it. So if he puts his arm up, he's a protected player, and he can just possess that. Now, if he wants to return it like he did, then go ahead. By all means, try it. But there's going to be a lot of dark blue shirts bearing down on you.
Absolutely. Not a lot of room to work with there. So he made the catch there. Jason Mole on the return was only able to pick up maybe 1 or 2 yards as Logos was bearing down on him there. So 1st and 10 for the Spartans, hoping to get something going here on offense. And they're going to take the snap and hand it off to number 22. That's the sophomore running back, Rylan West. And he gets their first down of the afternoon.
Yeah, and there's that Timberline experience. Now they're kind of settled in. Maybe got a little grumpy over on that sideline, whether that's coaches or players. But they got a good push on that one.
And this Logos fan is not happy about that first down, let me tell you. 1st and 10. Ball's on the 39-yard line. I formation look here from the Spartans. One receiver to the bottom of the screen. They take the snap. They're going to run that way. The quarterback has a convoy in front of him. He's turned running back here. He is inside the 30 and is finally brought down from behind. That was number 55 from Logos, Henry Sundley, the sophomore.
Nice job by Timberline there. Just keeping it basic. Get it with one of your better players. Get to the edge. Use the field position. Now the wide sides to the top of the screen or to the left of the offense. Be interesting to see if they come back to that. Just trying to get something to the wide side and trying to outspeed everybody.
And that was the number 3, the quarterback, junior, Parker Brown. That's his first down run of the day. And we got one receiver to the bottom of the screen here. That's Micah Nelson, the senior. Brown, back to pass. He's got 2 options downfield. He's going to keep it himself as both were covered. Tries to get to the outside. Has to bounce it back inside after a couple of missed tackles. He's inside, and he's brought down just before the goal line here. Excellent run there from Parker Brown.
Yeah, Brown's showing you a little 8-man football at its finest there, where you're really corralled. Everybody's covered, but because the field is so wide with only 16 players on it, nice job just making something out of it like you're in the backyard.
So it's going to be 1st and goal for the Spartans here. Their first trip into the red zone of the day, and they're hoping to cash in, trailing 24-0 here in the first quarter with 3 minutes, 45 seconds to go, and we've got a timeout. Timeout taken by the Spartans here. And, folks, we're going to take a short break here. We're going to thank one of our sponsors here, Toyota. Let's go places. We'll be right back here on IdahoSports.com.
At Toyota's National Sales Event, we don't just help you get the perfect vehicle. We're here to open new doors that lead to your road to greatness. Your journey starts at Toyota's National Sales Event.
Toyota, let's go places.
At Toyota.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Moscow, Idaho, where we are witnessing history here for the Logos Knights, their first ever varsity game. And boy, did they come out in style. It's 24-0 thus far. But Timberline is knocking on the door here with a 1st and goal. Brown takes the snap, hands it off to his back, Rylan West, who powers his way forward. And that's a touchdown.
It's a nice job keeping it basic right there. Good timeout by Coach Christofferson, where he wanted to make sure his troops were fresh and rowdy, and they got right in there. It's going to be important for Logos to kind of gather themselves and keep them out of the end zone. I'm sure we're going for 2.
Now, it looks like the Spartans will stay out there for the 2-point conversion. Quarterback Parker Brown in the pistol, and he's got behind him 2 backs. That's number 7, Darren Bonner, and number 22, Rylan West, who just scored the touchdown. They go for the pass, however, and it's just over the top of the senior receiver, Micah Nelson. So the score is going to stay 24-6, but Jason, for Timberline, that's got to be a big morale booster there as they're now on the board.
That's true. That's very true. They're the experienced group here. Obviously, it's hot on their sidelines too, and not very many troops over there. And they kind of got railroaded there at the beginning with not even getting the ball after 2 or 3 possessions. And so it's going to be important for them to settle in on defense here and force Logos to fizzle out on their offense. But we haven't seen that yet.
Yep, Logos is coming out on what will be their 4th drive of the day. Thus far, 3 for 3 as far as touchdowns are concerned. Hoping to add to that tally. And I think they're actually lining up on the wrong side of the field at this point in time.
It's a first game for the special teams and the offense. They'll get it figured out. The referees are going to corral them.
Yep, we're doing the old switcheroony here.
Yeah.
First quarter has not come to an end yet. I remember doing that time to time back in my days and on the gridiron.
That's right, especially with a deep roster like this where you may have some fresh faces and run out there and kind of get set up wrong. And just excited about being out there on this momentous day.
And playing so well thus far, too. 3:38 to go here in the first quarter. 24-6 in favor of the Knights. Spartans getting set to kick it off here. Maybe we see some trickeration here on the special teams play as a way to spark this Timberline attempt at a comeback.
Yeah, we've seen Logos kind of do that intentionally with some short pop-up kicks. May be interesting to see if Timberline does the same thing.
So set to kick off for Timberline's number 50, Gavin Christofferson. Back deep to receive. We got a couple of Knights. This one's a little bit of a pooch kick. It's caught by the Knights. They're going to take it. He's looking to get to the outside. He does so. He's got some blocks in front of him, and he's going to go the distance. Touchdown, Logos. That was number 43, Aiden Elmore on the catch and run.
And that's the dangerous part. If you kick it up high like that, it's going to be a great chance for the return team if you don't get in your lanes and keep everybody contained and corralled in there. So excellent job picking his way through there for a long touchdown.
And we're not even out of quarter number 1. Logos already has 30 points on the board. I think the rest of the White Pine League is going to be taking notice on this performance thus far. And again, this is an experienced Timberline team hoping to make a playoff push this season of their own. Once again, Logos hoping to keep their perfect streak of 2-point conversions going here. They've converted all of them successfully thus far. They got 2 receivers at the top of the screen here in Krapuschetz and Comus. Comus will go in mission towards the bottom. And they'll go towards Krapuschetz, and it's knocked down. Good coverage there from Timberline. That was number 3, Parker Brown, the quarterback, playing both ways.
Yeah, for this short little roster, everybody's going to have to play both ways, and especially on the Timberline side, so that makes it a pretty rough go. As the coaches go out there and help with the tee out there on the 40-yard line.
Well, they're doing it all here. Gotta love it. So the score is going to stay at 30-6, but nonetheless, good response there from Logos, responding immediately after a solid touchdown drive from the Spartans.
Well, and you mentioned in the pregame show, there's lots of weapons on the dark blue team, so they're all going to be chomping at the bit. They're not going to be watching one guy do all the touchdowns. So they're all going to want to have an opportunity to make history here.
Well, this game started at 2 o'clock Pacific time here in Moscow, Idaho. It's now 2:32, so this first quarter has taken about a half hour thus far. And has there been a lot of action packed into it. And Logos once again coming out to kick things off. That is number 12, Liev Comus. And back deep to receive for the Spartans. Looks like that's number 3, Parker Brown, the junior, and his running back, number 22, Rylan West. West is the only Spartan to punch it in the end zone thus far out of the backfield. And the Spartans are certainly hoping to replicate their last drive, which ended in 6. Breeze is starting to come in from our backs here at the new Logos field.
Can we say thankfully?
Yes, please. Let's get a little bit more of it. Comus sends the ball into the second level. This one is taken by number 7, Darren Bonner, and he is brought down out of bounds. Excellent tackle there from number 11, Roman Nutbrock from Logos.
Well, we just kind of saw the opposite happen where they were able to kind of work their way through. That young man was trying to do the same thing. That being said, Logos did a nice job of keeping him corralled.
So it's going to be 1st and 10. The Spartans will start this drive at the 38-yard line. And last time it was the ground game that got them down the field. We'll see what they come up with here. First and 10. Brown is alone in the backfield this time in the gun. He's got 4 receivers in the set. Brown looking deep over the top, and it is incomplete. The intended target was number 88, Jason Mull, but some excellent coverage there from both Comas and Nutbrock.
Yeah, I still like the call, though. They haven't really shown anything over the top yet, so trying to take advantage of it. If nothing else, get some of the defenders out of the box and run away. Maybe setting up a little bit of a quarterback draw here, maybe on 3rd down, regardless of what happens here.
2nd and 10 now. Ball still inside the 40-yard line.
Why are you wearing it?
Got 4 receivers in this set for the Spartans. Man-to-man defense for the Knights all the way across. Brown takes the snap, looks down to the bottom side. He's got an open target. It's caught! Number 8, Micah Nelson, the senior, on the reception, beat his defender. That was Solomon Howard on the coverage, who did bring him down, which there is something to be said for making tackles in open field in 8-man football.
For sure. It was 8-on-8, and definitely one of those situations where a great defensive play, but a little bit better offense.
Again, that was Micah Nelson on the catch from his quarterback, Parker Brown. Gain of 30 on the play. And an interesting formation here. We've got 2 players as flex options in the backfield. Rylan West goes in motion. They're going to pitch it to him. He's got a convoy in front of him, but he's brought down from behind. That was number 50, Judah Merkel, on the tackle, the senior.
Yeah, excellent pursuit angles there by Logos. They weren't really tricked by that formation, was just able to rally up and make things happen. Looked like that young man came from the defensive end spot.
And we are being blessed here with some wind. Thank goodness. 2nd and 10 here. Ball is on the 30-yard line. Once again, the Spartans in the red zone, so they're starting to get some rhythm here. In the backfield, they've got 3 players. They'll hand it off to Rylan West right up the middle, and he powers his way through those Logos Knights and gets a pretty solid gain. Looks to be a pickup of 6 on the play. Excuse me, looks more like 7. So 3rd and 3, ball on the 23-yard line. And they're coming out in that elongated I formation here. Brown has 2 backs behind him. And they're going to hand it off to West once again, who stopped at the line of scrimmage and then brought down. Excellent response there from the Knights. 1 got to him early, and then the rest were able to pile on.
Good job. They've seen that formation a number of times, and they've had good success at it from Timberline's perspective, but that time Logos was able to shut it down. Everybody kind of rally up at the same time, and now maybe it's time for rip and strip and try and get the ball back on defense, even if it is 4th down.
So 4th and 3, no gain on the play. And Logos looking to really make a statement right here if they were able to stop the Spartans short. Same formation. That was Brown who threw it out to his intended target, Jason Mull, but it's incomplete. And that is a turnover on downs, and Logos, their powerful offense, will retake the field. Jason, that was a big stop.
That was a big stop, and it was one of those where he probably would like to have that one back. We've seen connections on that when he had a little time and put some air underneath it, but as the possession continued, everybody looked a little more and more tired, so you got to be better with the ball.
So the score remains 30-6 here, 55 seconds to go in quarter number 1. Jackson Driscoll, the quarterback, sends the receiver in motion. That's Comus. But they're going to hand it off right up the middle. This is number 34, Jonathan Morrill, who busts his way into the open field for a first down.
It's a nice big gain right there as we're just about shy of the second quarter.
So that first down gets the ball out to the 35-yard line. Gain of 12 on the play. Driscoll, and once again has Morrill behind him. 2 receivers to the bottom of the screen. Comus goes in motion across the formation. Driscoll takes the snap, hands it off to Morrill once again, who's met immediately in the backfield. What a tackle by number 88, Jason Mole.
Yeah, that's a nice job by the Timberline defense there, getting off blocks and making that good, sure tackle there, one-on-one.
So that is going to be a loss of 5. Driven them back to the 30-yard line. And that right there is going to do it for the first quarter. Jason, not a bad first quarter here for Logos and their first ever varsity game.
That's true. That's very true. A lot of emotions, a lot of history right here. At the same time, now it's going to be important for some of that conditioning and that actual football game to start to set in, and it's going to be interesting to see how she continues to play out.
Well, folks, we've played one, and our score, Logos 30 at Timberline 6. We'll be right back here on IdahoSports.com after a message from our sponsors.
A hit in the morning, another between class, after school, and more before bed. Vaping sucks you in quick. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems everyone's talking about. That's why thousands of teens are ready to take back their life their own way with My Life, My Quit. When you sign up with us, you'll get a free and simple quit plan that makes it easier to stop vaping. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Coming through, not like I can see everything, but it just looked a little bit laggy. Okay. Trying to speed it up. Yeah, pick it up. Come on. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here in Moscow, Idaho, as the Logos Knights, in their first ever varsity football game, have the lead 30-6 in the quarter. Number 2 is just about ready to get underway. Once again, Driscoll in the pistol. 3 receivers in this formation for Logos. They're going to look to air it out here potentially. Comus goes in motion across the formation. Blitz from the Spartans. No matter, though. Comus makes the catch, gets inside, and now tries to cut outside. And what a catch and run there from Comus. He's done a lot of that today. He's already got a touchdown thus far, and he gets close to the first down marker.
Yeah, I like the pass. That play call, that quick little pass to the edge, makes a one-on-one situation. If the offense wins, all of a sudden you get good yards and you're on to the second defender.
And that could very well be they're going to mark it just short. It's going to be a third down. Oh.
I would think we're on the other side of that line. I know that sometimes the grass bumps and the camera work looks a little odd,
just kidding. First down, Knights. But yeah, Comus already has a touchdown on the day where he weaved his way through the defense quite impressively, might I add, and he just did so right there again for the first down. So 1st and 10 now for the Knights. 2 receivers in the set. Driscoll takes the snap. He's rolling to his right. Got an open target. It's Comus once again. Just out of reach. It looks like Comus maybe misjudged it a little bit as he pulled up on his route.
Yeah, I think we'd like to have that one back if you're Logos. Timberline, I think you might have dodged a bullet there. really one of those where it's going to be interesting the way the field's set up. That would be more into the sun than they were going the last time. So it'd be interesting to see if that ever plays a role in any of this. But without a doubt, there was some miscommunication by Timberline defense where he was running by himself for sure.
Yeah, you see the coaching staff for Logos saying, don't stop running. 2nd and 10 here. Ball on the 45-yard line for Logos. Almost everyone's in on the line this time as they are going to miscommunication there potentially. It looks like the running back and quarterback weren't on the same page, and Driscoll just had to fall on the turf. Probably the safe play to do there.
That's true, and then the camera wasn't on the same page either, so you kind of just saw shoestrings on that one. But good pursuit by the defense.
2nd quarter now. 11:20 to go, so 40 seconds have gone by as the clock's now rolling. After that loss on the play, it looks like a loss of 6 or 7. 3 receivers in the set here, 2 to the bottom of the screen. Looks like a potential blitz coming here from the Spartans. They bring 4. Ball is thrown over the top, kind of up for grabs here. There was a lot of yellow jerseys around that ball.
I think the 3 defenders might have had a better play on it, and they might have fought each other for it to the end of the play. So it almost looked like a punt.
That was Nutbrock, the intended target there. The Spartans brought 4 on that blitz, and that's going to bring up 4th and long. So this will be, I think, the first punt for Logos on the day. Could be mistaken there, but I'm just going to go with it. Back to punt is number 12, Liev Comas. It's been the punter and kicker for Logos, and now we've got a flag.
It's hard to, we looked like last night where with even at the 5A, 11 man, it's hard to get offense, defense, and special teams all on the same page in a short window and for the first game. And at this level, it's even harder. It looked like that young man kind of was getting out there trying to find his spot and remember what his blocking assignment was, and they ran out of time.
We haven't had too many flags thus far today as the officials are ran by Dan Davenport, the head referee. And Comas, rugby-style kick end over end, and this has a great Logos bounce and great coverage there from Nutbrock, who stops it at the 25-yard line. So excellent punt there from Comas.
Excellent job by him. He did accidentally bump it, so better for him to just go ahead and secure it, because if he bumps it, the offensive player can go ahead and advance that, and the worst thing that could happen was for the ball to go back there. But nonetheless, they forced the punt. If you're Timberline, you got to get some points here in the 2nd quarter.
Absolutely. 10:48 to go in the 2nd quarter as the score still remains 30-6. So both teams' scoring has stalled since that flurry of points.
But you called it. Getting those 2 or 3 offensive possessions back to back with points was maybe the dividend at the end of the game.
1st and 10. Ball is on the 25-yard line. Brown takes the snap. He's going to throw this over the top. He's got his favorite target over there. That was Micah Nelson. But good coverage, and there's a flag down. This looks like pass interference.
Pass interference on the offense?
The ref signaled that it was pass interference on the Spartans, but he has since changed it. Pass interference against Logos. That's going to be a 15-yard penalty.
I'm not trying to penalize the Logos on that. It's just pretty unusual to be 1-on-2 and you end up with pass interference. But nonetheless, there were 2 defenders over there, so if you're Timberline, you're hoping to kind of dial something up that maybe takes advantage of the fact that one receiver's drawing 2 defenders. Maybe you can play off of that on a screen play or a delayed pitch or something.
So the call is official now, defensive pass interference. And Timberline is going to go ahead and take that penalty as that'll move the chains. So 1st and 10 now for the Spartans as they are now spotted at the 40-yard line, down on the left hash. 3 players in the backfield for the Spartans, 1 receiver on the far side. They're handing off to West. West is able to bring a couple of Knights with him as he powers his way forward for a gain of 5.
Yeah, a nice job by that young man. He was he was kind of out in front of his blockers doing some work, and took quite a few of the blue shirts to get him down.
So it looks more like a gain of 6 now. 2nd and 4. A call, and the ball is on the 46-yard line. Left hash once again. Spartans coming out in the pistolized I formation. 2 backs behind Brown. And Brown loses the snap here. He's going to pick it up. He's got a lot of Knights in front of him. Sumter not able to bring him down. Brown bounces off another tackle, and he's finally brought down there. And the eventual tackler was Seamus Wilson, the freshman.
I think there was a collective holding of the breath on this side just because he continued to squirt out of all those tackles and trying to make something happen. I thought I heard him say, "Block, guys, keep blocking for me." And good job just pursuing and getting him down finally.
It seemed as though everybody was kind of just watching him run around at one point in time there. So, valiant effort from Parker Brown, the junior quarterback. But nonetheless, it's going to be a loss on the play. 3rd and 10. Brown takes the snap, loses the snap once again, and he's having to run for his life. Brown trying to make something out of nothing. Chased from behind and brought down. That was number 55 from Logos on the tackle. Henry Sundley, the sophomore.
Brown did make something out of that, though. The ball bounced on the ground, like you mentioned, popped right back to him. Wasn't able to get the first down, but did a nice job of making something out of that.
4th and 5 now. And Logos still has their defense out there, just waiting to see what the Spartans do. And the offense is coming out. 3 receivers in the set. 4 if you count the hatchback in the backfield. And they're going to go for it. They send everybody deep. They fire it over the top. And it's intercepted. Roman Nutbrock makes another big catch. This time on the defensive side of things. And Logos will take over, but in a way that almost works out like a punt.
It is. If you're Timberline, you are probably okay with that simply because it does work out that way. Hard to tell a guy to go ahead and drop that interception, though, and bat it down. But so he wants that helmet sticker for sure, but one of those where excellent job by the Logos defense nonetheless.
Jason, you're actually right about that. Batting down the ball may have been the smart play there, but like you said, that's a nice statistic to have.
Yeah, especially this early in the season. You want kids to be aggressive.
8:17 to go here in the first half. 30-6 the score as Logos takes over. Ball is on the 33-yard line as Solomon Howard goes in motion and now goes into the backfield as running back. They're going to hand this ball off right up the middle. That's number 55, Henry Sundley. We've called his name on the defensive side, but now he gets his first breath on the offense end.
Yeah, kind of an interesting, kind of a ghost motion where all the eyes went to that running back or that slot back all the way back, and then it was the quick handoff for a nice game.
So that's going to be a gain of 5 on the play. 2nd and 5 now. Three receivers in the set here. 2 up top on the far side of the field. Driscoll in the pistol. Takes the snap. Looks to that top side of your screen there. He's got Solomon Howard, and it's just out of reach. Howard had laid out for that one, but was unable to come up with it. On the coverage for the Spartans was number 7, Darren Bonner. But that could have very well been a nice catch.
Yes, we've seen that play. I bet we see it again simply because it's so effective. Just a little more patience and a little more air, and maybe that one would have gone all the way.
3rd and 5, 3rd and 4 roughly. One of the two. Ball is spotted at the 40. Got one receiver to the top far side of the screen here for this 3rd down play. Spartans show pressure. They bring it. Driscoll gets it out to the far side, and that was for Comus. Tried to corral that with one hand.
I love that play call there with the receiver going behind the formation or kind of delaying, getting mixed up, really wide open right there. Something they may be able to come back to if they have to. We might see that pass over the top now that they went to the short side of the field. Maybe it's time to go back to the long.
So 4th and 5 now. And the Knights are going to stay on the field and go for it. Driscoll has a running back behind him in the backfield. Comus goes in motion across the formation. Pressure from the Spartans. He throws it over the top, and it's out of reach. Maybe some miscommunication there on the route combination, but Nutbrock was the closest senior receiver there. So that's going to be a turnover on downs, and now the Spartans have pretty favorable field position.
Well, that's true, and Logos probably, that probably could have sprung a little bit better if we'd just been a little more patient. That being said, now it's time for Timberline to do their thing. They've done a nice job the last couple of times. Now they got to get some points out of this offensive possession. They've showed how they've been able to power it in on the run. They might come back to that now that they've loosened them up with some pass.
Yep, 1st and 10 now for the Spartans, who take over on downs at the 40-yard line, so already in Logos territory. Logos showing pressure on either side. They're going to pitch it to Rylan West, old reliable, as he tries to bounce it to the outside, but he's brought down. Liev Comus, the senior, on the tackle.
Yeah, nice job by Comus right there, getting off his block in heavy pursuit, getting right where he needed to be, so that way he could keep him corralled. We've seen that running back sprint for lots of yards, so it's one of those where they did a nice job on that one.
So 2nd and 10 now.
Boy, talk about some hospitality here at the Logos field right here, huh?
Yep.
Live on the air. We just got some sandwiches, some burgers brought in
by
the AD.
We just got a burger by Will Burger, local food truck here in town, and my goodness, just fantastic. So 2nd and 10 now. And there was some miscommunication there from the Spartans side of things. They were going to try to hand off the Rylan West, but he ran to the wrong side, or maybe Brown was looking on the wrong side. In any case, that's going to be a loss on the play, and that's going to bring up a long 3rd down.
Yeah, lots of potential right there for Timberline. It's one of those where they just need to make sure they're all on the same page. They're getting tired, obviously. Hydration's probably starting to set in a little bit, or lack of it. So it's really one of those where they got to stay focused, just like Coach says late in the practice when you do those extra wind sprints.
So it's going to be 3rd and 9. Ball on the 41-yard line. Brown drops back. He's got plenty of time. He's got plenty of blockers, but he doesn't have anybody open downfield. Excellent coverage downfield, and he's brought down. Looked like he tripped on his own player. That was, I guess, 66 Lane Downing on the tackle.
Yeah.
But that was a coverage sack right there.
I was going to say, you got to give the defensive backs, the guys covering the receivers, a lot of credit on that one. He kept looking downfield, and all he saw was blue. So nice job right there by the back end of the defense, helping the front end where they just kept him corralled. And like you said, he just kind of bumped into his own guy and fell down.
And now conditioning is obviously going to be playing a big factor here. You see some hands on their knees there for the Spartans.
Yeah, nobody's complaining about playing time today.
That's right. Maybe bench time. 5:05 minutes now on the clock here in the first half. 3 receivers in the set. Brown drops back. He was looking right, but he's just going to run for it. 4th down here. So Logos, all they need to do is corral him here, and they do. He's brought down out of bounds, and that's going to be a turnover on downs after the tackle was made by number 54, Ben Carlson, the freshman.
Yeah, excellent pursuit again. We've talked about that before where he's able to try and get outside, but there's just so many blue shirts on him as he's trying to pick his way through there. Excellent work by that Timberline quarterback, but just didn't have anything downfield again.
Let me tell you, folks, these fries are fantastic. But I should focus on the broadcast here. It's 1st and 10. Logos ball, they take over. Ball on the 35-yard line. And you can see Timberline, they just look exhausted at this point in time. Halftime can't come soon enough. But they're going to get a timeout here. Logos will take that timeout.
Helping them out a little bit. Well, I don't think that's the case. I think they were looking for another guy to come out with them.
4:48 to go here in the second quarter is when this timeout here. And the new Idaho Sports Prepcast. We'll cover topics from all corners of Idaho each week. News, information, interviews with coaches and players, you name it. And that's brought to you by Brandon Bainey. He and I have been covering some of that up here with the Palouse Prepcast. Jason, we'll have to get you in on one of those.
Hey, you guys have been doing great without me. I appreciate that. It kind of gives me the preview of what the heck I'm supposed to talk about and where we're going to be. And what I like is it's regional coverage. So if you're interested in what's going on, Lewiston has a Madison matchup. They play in the Rocky Mountain Rumble today against Utah. And so if you want to see what's going on and what Madison looks like, you're able to kind of tune in on that at all levels. It's covering Division II, the smallest guys, all the way up to the 5As.
Yep, from all corners of Idaho. We had 18 total broadcasts Friday and obviously today. So Lewiston takes over now. 1st and 10. Solomon Howard going in motion here. And they're going to hand it right up the middle this time. And that, once again, is the running back, number 43, Aiden Elmore. He's been busy today.
Yeah, I'm sure they're thinking you got 4 minutes and some change. You got to get one more touchdown. They've kind of stalled out. Hats off to Timberline. They've seemed to settle in, but they've stalled out on offense, so they're going to want to get another score here to get some confidence in the second half.
Yeah, an ideal situation maybe for Logos is if they take the clock all the way down close to 0 and punch it into the end zone just before halftime, as it's now 2nd and 7. Driscoll hands it off to Elmore once again, who drives forward, and he is stopped after a pickup of a couple, and that's going to make it 3rd and a little bit more manageable, 3rd and 5.
Yeah, they chose to take the ball, kind of a rewind there. They chose to take the ball at the beginning of the game, which paid off heavily for them, got a nice lead built up. But like you said, they're going to want to keep on that offense rolling here and show some life late in the second half, or in the first half as they head into the second half.
That's right. Timberline will get the ball to start the second half as they elected to kick. So 3rd and 5. Motion here from Logos as they have everybody up on the line. Driscoll in the backfield along with Elmore. Driscoll takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He rolls to his right. He's got Solomon Howard. Howard, stiff arm, stays on his feet, but he's brought down. Good group tackling there from the Spartans. The initial contact came from the quarterback, Parker Brown.
Hey, that's that play I've liked so much. He comes across that formation. Excellent work by Howard right there. Fights off the first one and gives big effort, but there was a second defender there to take him down that time. And the Timberline earns that 4th down that they've been looking for. We have seen the punt formation, but we haven't seen them take advantage of that extra possession yet.
That brings up 4th and 6, so about a loss of 2 on the play. And Logos will once again bring out their punt team, and their punter, Liev Comis, back to kick this away. Rylan West from Timberline set to receive. And Logos has had to punt the last 3 drives have stalled out for Logos. And they're going to keep it. Comis tries to find a way, but it's a fumble picked up by Timberline.
Oh, and the big man. Oh, the big man. The crowd's loving that. Just you don't see an offense or defensive lineman very often get the ball like that. Obviously, Logos fans would much rather have a first down on that, but it is worth a chuckle. And good focus by that young man, taking advantage of that.
Jaron Christofferson, the senior lineman, number 60, punched the ball free. And now the Spartans, once again, get some excellent field position here.
Well, he's probably that young man's name is Christofferson, and the head coach's name is Christofferson. I'm guessing son, and he's probably thinking, Dad, come on, coach, give me the ball. Did you see those moves?
Put me at running back, please.
And, in game within the game here, Logos takes the timeout there to get themselves settled down because now, just as you mentioned, Timberline has 2 minutes and 10 seconds to work with right before halftime, and they get the ball. So if they could get points here and the extra point and the possession and touchdown in the beginning of the second quarter, maybe we're back in the game here.
Absolutely. This could potentially be a 2-touchdown swing here if Timberline's able to put points on the board here and then starting with the ball very next half. So momentum could be a shift in here with 2:10 to go in the first half. Fans, our army of Idaho sports action photographers are covering games from one end of the state to the other each week. We've revamped our galleries to make it even easier to find and order snapshots of all the memorable moments this season. Click the Action Shots link to purchase prints for digital downloads today. Again, that's on IdahoSports.com. And boy, have we had action on Friday and Saturday. We've had 18 total broadcasts, including this one, from one end of the state to the other. And we're fortunate to be bringing it to you here from Moscow, Idaho, as Logos is playing their first ever varsity game.
Yes, without a doubt. And the other interesting aspect is because it's a Saturday game and most of these teams played on Friday, there's a number of opponent coaches at both the D2 and the D1 level out here kind of getting the game in live, maybe ordering a hot dog and a hamburger.
Absolutely. 2:10 here left in the first half as Timberline takes over after that fumble on the fake punt. Brown looks for the corner route. He's got his target. It's caught! Touchdown Spartans! What a response here. Micah Nelson on the receiving end of that touchdown from Parker Brown. And the Spartans are in business.
Yeah, excellent job by Brown right there, setting his feet, taking his time, relaxing a little bit, putting the ball up in the air, and getting that touchdown. And again, making this game a little interesting. Did they score too quickly, though? That may be the question.
That's true. Logos now has 2 minutes to work with, maybe a 2-minute drill coming up here. That is now 30-12, and Timberline will go for the 2-point conversion here. Unsuccessful on their first 2-point attempt here. They've got Rylan West, the running back in the backfield. In front of him, Darren Bonner. They're going to hand it to West, who tries to find an opening. He's met at the line and pushed back. Logos keeps them out of the end zone for the 2-point conversion. Jason, that was a pretty big play there.
That was a big play because I'm not a math guy, but it does make it a 3-touchdown situation if you don't get any extra points on any of these, and that's how you quickly chip away, get yourself a lead. And Logos, again, one of those where maybe they took the time and make sure they got themselves settled, and maybe they can roll that defensive play into offense now because they do have plenty of time, and we've seen that quick strike ability.
And now the question is, can Logos respond? Like we said, they have 2 minutes to work with here. Maybe they can drive down the other side of the field and put some points on the board before they get the ball back to Timberline at the end of halftime.
Well, and speaking of chess moves, the last time we saw Timberline kick the ball, it was kind of a short kick that was a big gain. And so it's one of those where what's going to be their strategy here, per se, where do they want to give them a short field with a short kick and maybe a touchdown, or are you going to try and kick it as deep as you can and hope you can rally up with tired legs? So it'll be interesting to see what happens here on this kickoff.
So 18-point advantage here for the Knights. 30-12 the score. As the first half is set to wrap up here, likely with this drive. And we've got, again, the light breeze coming at us from behind, thankfully. Let's keep that going. Timberline set to kick. We'll see if they send this deep or if they turn this into another trickeration situation here. Number 50, Gavin Christofferson, the sophomore, set to kick. And it's an onside kick here. And Logos is able to cover it up there. There were a couple of Spartans in range, but if they would have touched it at that point in time, that would have been illegal there.
Yes, that's correct. And again, we talked about that long touchdown return that we saw earlier, and one of those where that probably played heavily into this situation. Now they have a really short field of only 50 yards to have to work with just under 2 minutes.
So back on the field again is the Logos offense. Jackson Driscoll in the backfield. Behind him is number 43, Aiden Elmore. 3 receivers in the set. Driscoll takes the snap, pressure coming from the Spartans. It's caught across the middle. That's Nutbrock. Nutbrock in the open. Misses a tackle there. He's gone. This could be another touchdown, and an excellent block there. Touchdown Knights, but there is a flag in the middle of all that. Let's see what the call is.
I think it's going to be the block behind the ball. At this point in the game with all of that, generally a block behind the ball is a penalty.
Yeah, it looked like an excellent block there, but
it wasn't really a cheap shot by any stretch of the imagination, just one of those where...
Of the illegal variety.
It was illegal, but not egregious.
And that is the call, block in the back. So that is going to negate the touchdown there from Roman Nutbrock. That would have been his second on the day. But still, that is going to be a positive gain on the play.
Without a doubt, and the first down.
So 1st and 10 after the penalty. Still driving now. Ball on the 33-yard line. Driscoll has Aiden Elmore in the backfield. 3 receivers in the set. Driscoll takes the snap, pressured from the top of the screen there, throws it over the top to the left side of the field, and it is almost caught by Solomon Howard, the receiver. Unable to bring that one in.
Nice job by the quarterback. Looks like he set his feet a little better there, put some air under, just outside the outstretched arms. It's interesting to see how Timberline, do you give him a little cushion so that way you can keep up with him with tired legs, or do you try and press up and then try and get beat over the top? So kind of one of those where they're looking at the clock also here, trying to take the most of it.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Ball is on the 31-yard line here for Logos as they're knocking on the door. 3 receivers in the set. Driscoll takes the snap. He looks that same way again. He's got his target. What a catch! That was once again Liev Comis on the reception deep into Spartan territory.
Excellent job right there. Coming right back to it. Quarterback's getting some confidence. Offensive line, hats off, doing their jobs, keeping him clean.
1st and goal now. And they have a minute and 10 seconds to work with here in the first half. Everyone's on the line here. And that is illegal right there. River Sump through the center moved the ball backwards, simulating a snap, essentially.
Yeah, kind of one of those where he's excited. He knows what's at stake, wanting to do that goal line drill where he's trying to get it in and knows that he's got to get that block in order for that to happen. And just that little hiccup.
Again, some miscommunication there. We saw that last night with Lewiston versus Cuna. Just the first opening day jitters, and that's to be expected on the offensive side of things. So still 1st and goal. Ball's on the 10. Driscoll takes the snap, hands it off to Elmore up the middle. Elmore still going, driving forward, but he's brought down inside the 5-yard line. Driscoll, the quarterback, wants to hurry it up.
Nice job picking his way through the defenders. At the same time, yellow shirts rallying up quick, trying to keep him out of the end zone.
And they're going to go ahead and huddle this one up. 2nd and goal. Spartans are hoping to pull off a Thermopylae situation here. Keep the Knights out of the end zone. And the play is blown dead. We'll see if there's a timeout or... So we have an official timeout.
The clock might be a little wonky here.
Yeah, the clock is running, but it's also flashing.
Not us on this one, so it's not our technical difficulty.
That's right. We're bringing you a crystal clear broadcast as after last night's difficulties where we couldn't figure out our audio to save our lives. Not the case today. And that's a wrap. No, kidding.
No, yeah, Timberline fans, don't get your hopes up. That is not the end of the quarter.
That's right. So it's still 30-12. It looks like they've got the clock figured out now. They're putting some time back on it. And it looks like we're going to be set up here with, they put the full minute 10 back on. And for the Spartans, maybe this is a breather they need.
Yep. They weren't able to get the water, but you would think maybe they can rally up and make a stop here. At the same time, the opposite would be true, where Logos' offensive line now is also rested. Maybe they're hoping to get that big push.
So still 2nd and goal here. Looks like the ball is spotted at the 3-yard line. And now they're winding the clock back down to 52 seconds. So that could be what we're left with here for Logos. But that's plenty of time to get in the end zone and plenty of time to let some more clock run off.
And the clock should start at the whistle.
And there we go. There's the signal, and the clock did start. Comus and Nuttenbrock at the top of the screen there. Comus goes in motion across. The bobbled snap there, but they get it to Elmore. Elmore tries to push forward, but he's brought down by a couple of Spartans. And there's a flag on the field, and that is a holding call, which is going to move the Knights back. But, Jason, that's not always a bad thing in the red zone, giving the quarterback maybe a little bit more room to work with.
Yeah, there's plenty of time. Down and distance might be a little bit of an issue here, but given the fact that it's second down, we used to have an old thing. It kind of comes down to confidence, I guess, that if that's were to happen, obviously bad job on offensive line, but the running backs liked it because now they get 12 yards for a touchdown instead of the 5. So.
Exactly. More statistics here to be had.
That's right.
So now 39 seconds after that play, and it is now still going to be... Well, we'll see where they spot this. They haven't officially moved it. It is still going to be second down because the penalty was accepted.
I think this all plays into Timberline's benefit because it's giving them some time to rest. Logos is kind of stalling around here a little bit, not to jinx them in any sort of way, but Timberline might be able to use this to their advantage.
Well, way to go, Jason.
Half.
You just ruined Logos' drive right there. 3 receivers in the set.
They already gave me the burger.
That's right. 2 receivers at the bottom of the screen here. That's Krapuchettes and Comus. Comus will now go in motion across the formation. Driscoll looks Comus's way, but it's Nuttenbrock. Touchdown! That is Roman Nuttenbrock once again with his second touchdown of the day.
Excellent job. We've seen that play a number of times. That time it hits. Again, quarterback sets himself, gets confidence, throws over the top, makes it highly catchable.
And they score with 24 seconds left on the clock here in the first half. 36-12 now the score. And Logos has had done an excellent job today when it comes to the 2-point conversion side of things. So let's see if they can keep that going here. Spartans are going to hope to stop them, trailing by 24. Driscoll has Elmore behind him. Spartans sense a run, and they're pressuring that, loading the box. Elmore gets it right up the middle, pushing his way forward. And it's good. 2-point conversion is another success here for Logos, and that makes the score 38-12.
And again, offensive line doing their job, getting that big pile move, making it easier on the running backs. Quarterback was clean on the last throw. Excellent job on Logos' offensive line.
So another successful drive here for Logos, and that, Jason, was kind of important, I think, in that Timberline gets the ball back to start the second half. If Timberline had held them out of the end zone and then scored on the very next drive in the second half, we could be talking about a 12-point ball game.
Yeah, and that's that confidence factor that Logos is looking for. They're going to be thinking down the road, not just today. I mean, we mentioned a number of times it is a historic day, first varsity game, all of that. At the same time, now it's time to start to build for later weeks, and that's the kind of thing you want to have heading into the second quarter, or second half, rather.
Now 24 seconds to go here as Logos comes out to kick this one off. Liev Comus, the senior, will be kicking it here. We've called his name a lot today.
And Timberline's probably thinking you've got to make sure you get the ball. We've seen them kind of flubber up on the kick return and lose possession, and that would give Logos a chance right before half.
Yep, could turn into a Hail Mary situation here for Logos, which they've been successful on a couple of those earlier this game. All right, Logos fans the field as we're ready to kick. Comus sends this one deep, kind of a spiral look to it, and it takes a very favorable bounce for the Knights. It's picked up by Brown, who's met immediately, stiffs off the tackle, and he is spun out of bounds by number 50 for Logos. That was Judah Merkel on the tackle.
Yeah, gutsy play by Brown, picking the ball up with a lot of blue shirts coming down on him. You didn't know if he was going to make a play on that, but Logos' pursuit was better.
Yeah, that kind of sums up Parker Brown's play today. Gutsy. He's just made a lot of, well, gutsy plays. There's no other way to say it.
Without a doubt. Trying to extend things, make things happen.
So we're going to get another timeout here. 10 seconds left here in the first half. So Logos just wants to make sure they've got everything kept in front of them.
Yeah, nice job by Coach Holloway trying to make sure that all of his guys are on the right page. They probably haven't been in too many of these situations in their high school career. Timberline might more apt to just go ahead and wing something deep. They've been hit by a couple of open receivers themselves, and so want to make sure that nothing gets behind them on this, given the fact there's only 10 seconds left.
Yep, 10 seconds to go here, and Timberline, now that gives them a chance to draw something up, maybe throw in some trickeration here, throw in a Boise State hook and ladder.
Yeah, well, they've seen that look like the receivers are almost stacked behind each other, and so you wonder if there isn't a pitch pass sort of situation there in the old playbook there just for this kind of situation.
No, I don't think is it really? It's really weird.
So Timberline makes their way out onto the field, and they've got one receiver up to the far side of the field. That's the senior Micah Nelson. He does have a touchdown on the day, and it looks like everybody else is back there to protect Parker Brown. And they're going to send it Nelson's way, who's got a step. It's caught! Nelson! He's into the... He could go all the way, and he's brought down! What a hustle play, and that is going to be the end of the first half. Nelson almost put a touchdown on the board right before halftime.
Yeah, excellent job by the defender. That secure tackle, because the play had already started. Clock was ticking that whole time. It took 10 seconds. You only had 10 seconds. Touchdown saving tackle right there, literally right before half. Get that momentum into the second half, rather.
Excellent hustle there by Solomon Howard, the senior. Again, some more 8-on-8 action there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the first half. We've played two, and our score, Logos 38, Timberline 12. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
At Toyota's national sales event, we don't just help you get the perfect vehicle. We're here to open new doors that lead to your road to greatness. Your journey starts at Toyota's national sales event.
Toyota, let's go places.
It's time to start planning for back to school. That's why I got my kids vaccinated for COVID-19, so they can be protected from COVID when they're back in the classroom. Kids 12 and older can get vaccinated. The vaccines have been researched and tested. They're safe and they work. Getting vaccinated was quick and easy. You can walk into a pharmacy to get one. We got our COVID-19 vaccine, and I hope everyone will choose to get vaccinated too.
Get a free COVID-19 vaccine today. Find a location near you at covidvaccine.idaho.gov.
A hit in the morning, another between class, after school, and more before bed. Vaping sucks you in quick. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems everyone's talking about. That's why thousands of teens are ready to take back their life their own way with My Life, My Quit. When you sign up with us, you'll get a free and simple quit plan that makes it easier to stop vaping. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
At Valleywide Cooperative, we're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valleywide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Ads like this keep popping up, but I see through the hype because those vape clouds people claim are just water vapor contain as many as 31 different chemicals, like formaldehyde, the stuff they preserve dead bodies with. And while the flavors sound all harmless, we still have no idea what these ingredients could be doing to our bodies. But I already see vaping for exactly what it is. Get the real facts at BehindTheHaze.com.
I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, it was an easy process, is readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
We're Valley-wide Country Store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
At Toyota's national sales event, we don't just help you get the perfect vehicle. We're here to open new doors that lead to your road to greatness. Your journey starts at Toyota's national sales event.
Toyota, let's go places.
It's time to start planning for back to school. That's why I got my kids vaccinated for COVID-19, so they can be protected from COVID when they're back in the classroom. Kids 12 and older can get vaccinated. The vaccines have been researched and tested. They're safe and they work. Getting vaccinated was quick and easy. You can walk into a pharmacy to get one. We got our COVID-19 vaccine, and I hope everyone will choose to get vaccinated too.
Get a free COVID-19 vaccine today. Find a location near you at covidvaccine.idaho.gov.
A hit in the morning, another between class, after school, and more before bed. Vaping sucks you in quick. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems everyone's talking about. That's why thousands of teens are ready to take back their life their own way with My Life, My Quit. When you sign up with us, you'll get a free and simple quit plan that makes it easier to stop vaping. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
At Valley-wide Cooperative, we're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valley-wide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Ads like this keep popping up, but I see through the hype because those vape clouds people claim are just water vapor contain as many as 31 different chemicals, like formaldehyde, the stuff they preserve dead bodies with. And while the flavors sound all harmless, we still have no idea what these ingredients could be doing to our bodies. But I already see vaping for exactly what it is. Get the real facts at BehindTheHaze.com.
I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, it was an easy process, is readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
We're Valley-wide Country Store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to IdahoSports.com as we are in Moscow, Idaho on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. As you can see the rolling hills just outside. I actually got a text from my dad, Jason, that he called this the Field of Dreams as we are right outside these gorgeous wheat fields here. You've got the scenery that Jason's got his hand on right now, the mountains over there. Just a beautiful spot for some football.
It is a beautiful spot. Maybe a touch on the warm side as just a fan.
Yep.
Maybe a little more grueling if you're a player. But you're right. Beautiful situation right here. Mountains, wheat fields, already been cut, and great day for football.
Absolutely. So currently, let me pop over to the scoreboard side of things here, just so you fans at home can see this current situation. Currently, Logos leads 38-12 over the Timberline Spartans. And Jason, before we started, the narrative coming into this one was the fact that Logos had never played a varsity football game. But you and I touched on this before. This is still an experienced group that's had some football experience in the past.
Yeah, without a doubt, Coach Holloway has been doing a good job getting his guys ready for this moment. It's not too bright out here for them, and they were ready for what was going to happen. And on the other side, Timberline, they had to have their program completely shut down a number of years ago from lack of players, and then they built up to the 6-man program, and then back up to the 8-man program, and then last year they were a playoff team, and their schedule really builds for their last couple of games, where they play D2 schools at the end of their schedule, and mostly D1 schools, which is the bigger 8-man schools in the early part.
That's right, and so Jason, we just touched on it. Logos, the lights were not too bright for them because they're turned off. It's daytime. But besides the point, they came out and executed a near flawless first half, other than a few miscues here and there, as to be expected with opening day football. They were flying on offense, and they started the game out with almost all possession of the ball, scoring on 3 straight possessions. And we have a couple of touchdowns from some key players thus far. Number 11, Roman Nutbrock, he's got 2 already on the day. Comus has a touchdown. And then number 43, Aiden Elmore, he had an excellent kickoff return all the way for the touchdown. And those main scores right there really helped create some separation for Logos.
Yeah, they not only were polished, but they were actually opportunistic. They had the confidence of being able to get in the flow quickly and take advantage of some special team pickups and get extra possessions early.
And so they exploded for 38 points in that first half. On the other side, Timberline, they kind of got off to a rough start of things with that muffed kick right away, which gave Logos the opportunity to put another 8 points on the board. And for Timberline, the 2 scores have come by way of number 22, Rylan West on the ground, the sophomore running back, and then the senior wide receiver, number 8, Micah Nelson. Jason, what can they hope to do to start carving their way back into this game?
Well, it's dialed in for them. They get the ball first. Now that they've been rested over there, we saw them kind of shoulder pads loose, trying to make sure they got plenty of water. You got to build some of that confidence. The pieces that worked well in the first half, bring to the second half, and you got to score on this one. And hats off to Parker Brown. We've seen him try and make some stuff happen on his own. Within the framework of the offense, he's just looking for one extra block and maybe a receiver to come open, and then maybe their fortunes may change.
So that's kind of what we're looking at here as halftime. It's getting close to wrapping up here, and players are still in their team huddles. But Jason, let's kind of zoom out a little bit and look at both respective teams' conferences. With Logos, you're very familiar with the White Pine League. Logos was at least projected to finish last. However, maybe this game is having the other teams in the conference take notice.
Well, and it's really one of those where it's now the traditional White Pine League plus Logos. Logos has moved up a level in Idaho. I'm sure everybody's familiar. There's 2 levels, kind of a bigger school level, 85 kids and older, or over rather, up to 159, and that's the big school level. And Logos has taken that step. And at the same time, as I mentioned earlier, Logos may have been predicted by the media, and I guess I'm on that side now. That's probably just locker room talk. Hey, we're going to do a lot better than that, guys, especially the way that looking today.
Absolutely. Now, how about the other side, Jason, with Timberline? This is a team last year that went 4-4 and made the playoffs, had some very explosive moments throughout the season. Today hasn't necessarily been their day as of right now, but as you look at them in their conference, what do you see?
Well, and they're built for today, this year as well. That it may be a little bit behind them today at this moment, but at the same time, like I mentioned, they have Kendrick, Deary, Lewis County, and themselves in the football side of things at the D2 level. They take 2 teams out of that. Kendrick is probably favored overall in the entire state at the D2 level, but they play all those teams late in the season after they've polished things off, and with that smaller roster, being able to play in cooler weather probably is in their benefit.
And you and I will actually be in the booth at Deary. We've covered a Deary game when they took on Kendrick years ago, so we're certainly excited to be back out towards Deary. They've got a nice, just like this backdrop, a nice backdrop of their own. But in any case, now it looks like we are ready to get things going here for the second half. 38-12. Logos leads, and they certainly hope to continue that dominance here into the second half. But as we mentioned before, Timberline will start with the ball here in the second half. That is, of course, unless Logos tries some trickeration here on this kickoff.
Well, and sometimes early on it may look like a trick from up here, but it may just been a kick that went a little bit astray. But one of those where trying to take advantage of setups, and generally they've both been starting with 4 in the front, which is the minimum, and then they have their other 4, because there's only 8 out there, obviously, kind of spread around. And so that kind of generally has been opening up a spot in the soft middle of it, which they've been kicking to lately and having some success there.
So Coach Holloway has got to be incredibly proud of the way things have started off here for varsity football for Logos. And then on the other side,
Coach Christofferson is definitely somebody who is, they've been battle tested and they've have some goals set for later on in the season, and I'm sure he's been reminding, especially those older guys, to keep doing their thing as they move forward.
So Timberline is making their way back out on the field. We're waiting for Logos and their kickoff team to head back out. Number 12, Liev Comis, will kick things off. At least he did in the first half. And Comis will do the honors once again. Timberline has, looks like 4 players across that front line, 2 behind that, and then 2 deep. That's number 22, Rylan West. He's responsible for one of the touchdowns for Timberline, and then behind him, number 8, Micah Nelson, the senior receiver, responsible for the other. Or excuse me, that's number 3, Parker Brown, the quarterback. He's all over the place today.
Yeah, he's kind of making a lot of things happen as he goes, and this might be one of them. He's getting, your kicker there is getting some late advice from the coach. Maybe found a soft spot he likes.
Second half set to get underway here with the off the foot of Comis. And we're set. Again, back deep to receive number 3, Parker Brown from Timberline, and number 22, Rylan West. Running back and quarterback respectively. Comis sends this right into the second line there. That's picked up by number 12, Tim Short. And Short will push this out towards midfield. He's brought down at the 47-yard line, and that's where Timberline will get things started.
Very heads-up play by that young man where he kind of had that bullet coming at him fast. He knocks it down, gets possession, gets a little gain out of it.
Basically got drilled with the ball. He had the presence of mind to pick things up, and here we go. So Timberline in the huddle. Logos comes out on defense. 1st and 10. Ball on the 47-yard line. Timberline once again has 3 in the backfield. That's the quarterback, Parker Brown, Darren Bonner, as well as the running back, Rylan West. Brown over the top, a little fade route, and it is incomplete. The intended target was Jason Mole. He was coming across the formation and play there.
Yeah, we've been talking about soft passes and not wanting to throw it over the receiver. That time it worked out the opposite.
And Roman Nutbrock, we've called his name a lot for Logos today. He was in on the coverage. But all in all, that was a good way to start aggressively. 2nd and 10 now after the incompletion. Ball's on the 47. One receiver in the set, that's Micah Nelson at the top of your screen there. Brown takes the handoff, hands it off to West. West is trying to go east to west, but he is brought down immediately. Met at the line of scrimmage by number 43, Aiden Elmore. Some running back on running back violence there.
Yeah, without a doubt. Nice job by the defender, just making that secure tackle, as we've mentioned a number of times. Sometimes you're just out here one-on-one, and he was able to bring him down quick.
So 3rd and 10, no gain on that run. And the Spartans have some work to do. Micah Nelson, the receiver, will be on the far side of the field. Lots of room to work with. He's matched up one-on-one with his fellow number 8. That's Solomon Howard, the senior. Brown takes the snap, drops back, looking. He's rolling to his right, being pursued from behind by River Sumter. And Brown is clobbered by a whole host of Knights there.
Yeah, we've seen that kind of develop a number of times where everybody was covered. He just tried to make something out of it. This time it was 2nd down instead of 3rd down, and looks like they're going to be able to do some stuff here as it turns to 4th, I guess. I'm sorry. But definitely one of those where he just made the most out of that small option.
4th and 5. Ball is spotted at the 43-yard line. Or, excuse me, the 47-yard line, as they're now in Logos territory. But it is 4th down here, and the drive could end. Logos showing pressure from outside linebacker spots, and they're going to pitch it to West, trying to get outside. He's brought down! Aiden Elmore with the tackle. And that's a loss of yardage and a turnover on downs.
Yeah, and like you said before, that's great pursuit right there. Picks his lane, takes advantage of it, and gets super aggressive on defense. Now let's see if they feed him on offense.
Boy, before the game started, the coaches were saying who came to hit today. Well, that answers that question. Elmore is one of them. 1st and 10 now for the Knights as they hope to add to this 26-point lead. First and 10. 2 receivers in the set, far side of the field. Driscoll sends Comas in motion. Comas will settle on the right side of the formation. They're going to hand it off to Elmore. Elmore tries to bounce it to the outside. He's being pursued. Tries to cut it inside, and he's tripped up. That was number 3, Parker Brown, on the tackle.
I like the feeding the defender on offense where he did all that work, made it so they got a good field position, then they reward him on offense.
2nd and 6 after the run, so a pickup of 4 there from Elmore. Clock is ticking to the 9:40 mark here in the 3rd quarter. Now we got 2 receivers to the near side of the field. Driscoll sends Comas in motion. Seems to do so almost every play. Driscoll, he's going to hand it right up the middle to Elmore, who tries to bounce it to the outside. He does so. He's inside the 30, the 20, the 10. Cuts inside. Touchdown! Aiden Elmore, what a day on the ground.
And doing it on defense as well. Already trying to remind you to think about him for player of the game.
Duly noted. And right now he's certainly in the running for the IdahoSports.com player of the game. Just past his total there. Now we're at 44-12 after that long touchdown run. So now we go for the 2-point conversion here. This would make it 46-12. Driscoll waiting for the snap. Pressure being shown by the Spartans. Driscoll throws a little slant route there, and it's just short. That was Comus, the intended target on the play. So the Knights will settle for 6, but they're happy with that to start things off on a strong note here in the second half.
And again, it's going to be a same situation. Timberline's got to get some success on offense and help themselves out here a little bit and get some of that clock erased, as well as get some momentum. We've seen some good stuff out of them. We just have seen it hit and miss.
And they have a bit of an uphill battle ahead of them now, trailing 44-12. Jason, I'm sure you've been on the receiving end of games like this in the past where things just didn't go your way. Hey, it happens in sports.
Hey, did some of my parents call? Yeah, I mean, it's one of those where you just have to take it in the smallest case where, okay, this possession, now let's get some stuff on film. Obviously, it may not be your day unless you can get some heavy momentum your way quickly, but you have to get some success for next week because you got to move on, and their next opponent is actually in the bleachers next to us. And so it's really one of those where they have to get some momentum going for what they want to do down the road.
So Comus, once again, will set up to kick off here. Last time he sent a line drive directly into the chest of one of the Spartans there. That's number 12, Tim Short, the freshman. So I'm sure he's on his toes.
And he's thinking he might take this one long instead of short this time, take it all the way to the house.
9-11 here in the third. A lot of football still to be played. Comus set to kick. Back to receive is Rylan West and number 3, who will take it. That is Parker Brown. Picks up a couple of yards after picking the ball up and is ultimately brought down.
Well, and hats off to Logos Special Teams where they're doing a good job of pursuing to the ball, making it so those lanes aren't very well open. So it's really one of those where they're doing a good job on special teams as well.
And it looks like a Spartan may just be cramping up a little bit. It's certainly a warm day, especially with all those pads on. We talked about that before, Jason.
Yeah, it gets a little bit of a round of applause, but more importantly, he's probably going to go over and get a drink.
Amen to that. So 44-12. Again, we're here in the third quarter, and beautiful fields here in Moscow, Idaho. This new Logos field. And Timberline takes over. Ball spotted at the 37-yard line, 1st and 10. Spartans come out this time with kind of a flex back formation. Brown throws it out to the right side of the field, right side of the formation rather, and it is a loss of yardage there. Maybe a loss of 3 on that play.
Yeah, nice job. We've been talking about pursuit angles, everybody getting out there. We're starting to see a couple of new faces run out there for Logos, trying to probe the outside to get outside, but pursuit was there too fast.
So 2nd and 12. Ball's now on the 36-yard line. Knights will shift on the defensive line there. Brown throws a fade route over the top. It's intercepted. The interception made by Roman Nutbrock, but there is a flag down, and this one could be going back to the Spartans.
Well, nonetheless, excellent job by the defender right there, fighting for the ball, trying to make sure he high points it again, trying to get it at the as soon as he possibly can. And looks like there might have been a little too much contact on that one.
Yeah, that pass interference call on number 43, Aiden Elmore, who was there on the coverage. So after the penalty, that's going to be a 1st down for the Spartans, and they will gladly take that. as they hope to move down the field and carve their way one possession at a time back into this lead. Ball spotted at the 49-yard line. We got trips to the bottom of the screen here. Brown is alone by himself in the backfield. Brown takes the snap, looking. He's going to tuck it and run. He's down on the right side, and he's hit hard by Aiden Elmore. Hopefully trying to make up for that penalty there.
Yeah, quite a bit of punishment, but nice play call using the defensive aggressiveness against them. But they were able to rally up quick and get to the quarterback.
So it was a very short gain there. Gain of 1. So that makes it 2nd and about 8. Ball's now on the 47-yard line. Brown takes the snap, fakes the handoff there, looks over the wheel route, and that is incomplete there. Good play design, but unable to connect with the running back, Rylan West.
Yeah, trying to use his body to shield off the ball, but just kind of fell there, and that was the guy who just went off to grab a quick drink and come right back for the wheel route.
And now he's right back in the action. Third quarter, folks, 7:33 on the clock as both teams are airing the ball out here, which, results in the clock stopping from time to time. So now it's 3rd and 7. Ball on the 47. Kind of that pistol-looking I formation for the Spartans as they got 2 receivers going out, and they can't connect. That was number 8, Micah Nelson, the intended target on that corner route, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Looks like good play design, maybe just a little early with the ball. Just as he broke, the ball was on him. He was away from the defender, so it would have been a 1st down, but wasn't able to connect on that. Now we're in 4th down. Quite a bit of yardage. Think you're going to go for it on this one?
Judging by the scoreboard, I probably would. 7:28 to go, quarter number 3, 44-12 in favor of the Knights. And it looks like they're going to do that, or at least they're lined up to. Brown takes the snap, looking another corner route here, and it is incomplete. Number 88, Jason Mold, just couldn't catch up to that one, and Roman Nutbrock was there on the coverage for the Knights.
Sorry, Garrison, but very good coverage right there. He was right there with him in the break, so it was going to have to be almost a perfect ball. Maybe have rushed it a little bit. Now Logos is back on offense.
So now it's 1st and 10. Ball spotted at the 47 where the Knights will take over on downs. And Logos is coming out in their pistol formation with quarterback Jackson Driscoll, who's already got plenty of touchdowns to his name today, in the gun. Signal caller takes the snap here, fakes the handoff, and he rolls to his right, being pressured from behind. He's going to keep it himself. And he makes it into the 2nd level before he's cut down. And that ball, he made it out to the 45-yard line, so it was a gain of about 8 yards.
Excellent job. We've seen him execute the play as it's been drawn on paper. This time he takes advantage of what the defense gave him.
A good run there by Driscoll, who's been an excellent game manager today. And he's shown the ability to air it out as well over the top of the defense, connecting for numerous touchdowns, numerous receivers. 2nd and 2 after the run by Driscoll, who once again finds himself in the pistol with Elmore behind him. Comas goes in motion. Driscoll takes the snap, fires it over to Comas on a bubble route. Comas cuts inside. He's out into the open field, and he's brought down. That was number 22, Rylan West, the running back, who was able to tackle him.
Yeah, again, stretching him way out to the outsides, forcing him to tackle one-on-one. This time, the run lane kind of carried him right back to the defender.
1st and 10 after that catch and run by Comas. And the running back in the backfield is actually number 34, Jonathan Morrill, who's got his fair share of carries today, giving a spell to Aiden Elmore, who plays both ways. Morrill They fake the handoff to Morrill, but it's not a very good fake there as Micah Nelson comes in off the side and blasts the quarterback Driscoll with the sack, and that's going to be a loss of almost 8 yards.
Yeah, good pursuit all the way there. Didn't get fooled by the pass fake there a couple of times. Be interesting to see if Timberline can use this sack as a way to rally up and get the ball back without Logos getting any points.
So 2nd and 18 after the loss on the play. Ball spotted at the 44-yard line. 2 Knights at the receiver and 1 on the slot. That's Solomon Howard. Pressure being shown by the Spartans. And they'll bring it, but not before a flag is thrown. And that would have been thrown in the direction of Jackson Crapuchettes.
Getting a little conference here with coaches and referees. Sounds like the offensive linemen might be rocking in their stances just a tiny bit.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the offensive line coach from Lewiston, J.C. Christensen, is saying. He actually has a son playing at NC State and another son trying to walk on to Washington State. So he knows a little bit about offensive line work. So 2nd and 23 now after the penalty. Driscoll drops back, and he tried to connect with Solomon Howard, but threw the ball behind him.
Yeah, nice play design. Probably wish he had that one back as well. Just a little bit too far out of reach.
That was an attempted wheel route there out of the slot from Howard. And now we're left with a 3rd and 23. And there's plenty of plays in the playbook for something like this, right, Jason?
Yeah. I would. We've probably seen that play a couple of times where they just try and throw it over that post route over the top here.
And Timberline has a lot of people showing pressure here,
but no one
everyone's
in the nose
standing
guard.
up. So the 2 linemen drop back, mixing it up here, and Howard is wide open, caught! Deep touchdown, Jason. You called it. Just throw it over the top to Solomon Howard. That's his 2nd touchdown of the day.
Yeah, nice patience there by the quarterback. He saw you were mentioning the pressure. He didn't really pay much attention to it, just threw it where it needed to be, and Howard went ahead and ran under it. And now he's inching his way towards being the player of the game.
That's right. We have quite the battle on our hands between a couple of different nights here for the IdahoSports.com player of the game, which Jason and I will decide on at the end by taking a vote from the entire crowd. No, I'm kidding. We won't do that. But here comes a 2-point conversion attempt here from Logos. They line up in the pistol. Driscoll sends Howard in motion, who just scored the touchdown, and he'll throw to the other side of the formation to Nutbrock, but it is incomplete. He was unable to hang on to it. So once again, Logos, they haven't been as efficient on the 2-point conversion side of things, but most importantly, they're getting the 6.
Yeah, and maybe that whole momentum shaking off. That next week's going to be week 2. Not necessarily the historical day we've been talking about, but definitely wanting to set their sights on doing a lot better than last place according to the media.
That's right. Maybe a chip on their shoulder here.
And I air quote that media because that's you.
I don't know what you're talking about, frankly. I plead the 5th. Folks, we're going to step away for just a moment to thank one of our sponsors. We'll be right back here on IdahoSports.com.
The injuries look like those seen in people exposed to poisons like mustard gas.
That's how doctors are describing what they see in the lungs of vapors.
The chemicals can essentially burn your lungs. Find the truth at BehindTheHaze.com. The injuries look
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here in Moscow, Idaho, the beautiful rolling hills of wheat in the background. It is also common here in the Palouse, as the Palouse is actually produces, I believe, a third of the United States wheat output here. So that's about all we got. But today we have some great football taking place in the Field of Dreams, as we are right next to these gorgeous wheat fields and the mountains off in the distance here. Light breeze still very warm out as the sun is just beating down over the top of us. And now Logos will once again kick off to Timberline as they now lead 50-12. 2 successful touchdown drives to start for the Knights, putting up 12 points, and they'll come in with a little onside kick. It takes a dangerous bounce, but it's picked up by number 12. We've called his name a couple of times on these, Tim Short. And they've gone at Mr. Tim Short a couple of times here.
Yeah, Short's doing a nice job. He seems to be the most recent target, and he's doing his job. He's securing the ball, getting positive yards, and putting him in good field position.
And now that they're in good field position, the question is, can Timberline capitalize on this field position, as they've been unable to do so here in the second half? They trailed 12-0 in the second half. They were hoping to cut into it with starting with a possession, but have been unable to figure out this Logos defense. So Timberline once again have those 2 flex backs in the backfield as Brown takes the snap, throws it to one of those backs. That was Rylan West, the intended target, but maybe some miscommunication there.
Well, and like you said, this possession is going to be huge because it starts to become a math problem in 8-man football. You can suspend the game when you're down by 40 in the second half. Not to say that's what should happen or that's what will happen, but it's going to be important to challenge your guys. And if you're Coach Christopherson, and say, okay, guys, we got to keep battling here. Otherwise, our day is going to be short.
2nd and 10. Brown hands it off to West, and he's brought down immediately. Aiden Elmore, we've called his name a lot today, and he brings him down for a loss of yards. Elmore pushing for that coveted IdahoSports.com player of the game. 3rd and 12.
It hurts way more.
Getting the call in from the sideline of the Timberline coaching staff there.
Good job going slow, letting your guys rest up maximum amount of seconds. Make sure you're on the same page. You enter this important 3rd and long.
Have Coach Christopherson and West over there on the calls. Brown fakes a pitch to the right. He's going to keep it himself, but excellent containment there. That was number 55 from Logos, Henry Sundley, who sent the play back into the inside.
He did a really nice job of making sure he just kept his containment.
And folks, we're going to take a short break here on IdahoSports.com. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here on this game stream on IdahoSports.com, as you're looking live here at Logos' new field, where they are having a tremendous amount of success for their opening varsity game, leading 50-12 over the Timberline Spartans. And speaking of Timberline, they are now facing a 4th and 12 on offense as they hope to keep this drive alive. In at quarterback is number 50 for the Spartans. That is Gavin Christopherson, the sophomore. Christopherson takes the snap, looks right, and throws a bullet over the middle. It's caught. That one was by number 7, Darren Bonner, who keeps fighting forward, and he gets the first down, but there is a flag in the background.
Just as I was going to say that was great job by the offensive line by Timberline. Looked like maybe they had a little bit too much of the blue shirt on that one as they had a holding call.
And it looks like Logos is going to take the penalty, as that's going to force another 4th down try for Timberline. So a bit of a gut punch there, as Timberline had the first down. They were going to keep the chains moving, but now they have to face a 4th in very long. Ball is spotted back at the 33-yard line, and the first down marker is at the 42-yard line on the other side of the field. So 4th and long. We saw a 4th down conversion, or a conversion on the other side with Logos when they aired it out for a touchdown to Solomon Howard. We'll see what Timberline's able to come up with here. Take the snap. Christofferson airs it out over the top. And it was close. Jason Mole, the senior receiver, was the intended target, but that's going to be a turnover on downs. And you know what? Even though an interception didn't happen, Logos gets the ball in great field position now.
Yeah, I like the call, though. Get aggressive. It's late in the score clock here, and the points are on one side. And so see what your second-string quarterback can do here. If you'd put a little more air under it there, I think the receiver was open enough for a big gain on that.
3:17 to go here in the third quarter. And 50-12 is the score line. Logos once again comes out in this pistol formation with Driscoll in at quarterback. Aiden Elmore back in at running back now. Comus in that flex back spot. He's going to go in motion across the formation. And they hand it off to Elmore to get the clock a-rolling. And Elmore is able to dive forward for about a 6-yard gain. And coming in to spell Elmore for the Knights is number 34, Jonathan Morrill, the sophomore running back. And why not give Elmore a break? He's been all over the place today. 2:45 to go here, quarter number 3. And Logos's pace has slowed as they're trying to work the clock. Comus stays on that right side of the formation as they hand it off to Morrill. Morrill pushing forward into the teeth of that Spartans defense. And he's brought down. He was met by number 60, big Jaron Christofferson, the senior. Christofferson, excuse me. And that's enough for a first down.
My dad was like, we have to take I didn't like it. I think I was like 1, and my dad was like, and then he like, 1, you were 1? You remember that? You did not remember. No, I remember.
First and 10.
It's like there's this lady who
Ball spotted at the 21-yard line. Driscoll takes the handoff to Morrill once again, and Morrill falls forward for a pickup of 3. He was tripped up there by number 7 for Timberline. That was Darren Bonner, the sophomore.
Nice job by Bonner. Good job by the running back, just staying over his feet, getting his pads nice and low, and still picking up a little bit of a positive yard, even if it was a quick tackle.
And it actually comes out to a gain of 1 there, so 2nd and 9. Ball now on the 20. So they're in the red zone once again, Logos. 2 receivers in the set here. Driscoll takes the snap. He hands it again to Morrill, who tries to go to the outside, but is cut off. And the ball is free. And Rivers Sumter is able to dive on it, but excellent hustle there from those 2 down linemen for Timberline, which forced the fumble.
Yeah, we talked about the old rip and strip, trying to put those defensive line drills to use and force an extra possession for Timberline.
So that's going to bring up 3rd and long, 3rd and 12, the official line. Line to gain. First down marker is at the 11-yard line. So Driscoll is once again lined up. Back behind him is Morrill. 2 receivers to the bottom of your screen there, Krapuchettes and Comus. Comus will go in for across the formation. They hand it off once again to Morrill to keep the clock moving. But Morrill has bigger ideas as he gets close to the end zone and is brought down finally by number 88, Jason Mole.
Excellent job, just never giving up on the play. Fighting for yards. We talked about how that running back group is really deep, and he had his turn and tried to make the most of it.
So that's going to bring up 1st and goal. Ball is on the 3-yard line. And Logos has been incredibly efficient inside the red zone, as I believe they have a 100% conversion rate, which isn't bad. Driscoll has Morrill once again behind him, who almost had that touchdown there. They'll go to him again, and he's got a wide open waltz into the end zone. Touchdown.
Excellent job cutting it back on that. Defensive line and linebackers getting super tired. He takes full advantage of that.
So that was number 34, Jonathan Morrill, scoring his first touchdown of the day in the new season for Logos. And that makes the score 56-12 with just 1 second left on the clock here in the third quarter. So that's essentially the end of the quarter here once the kickoff happens. Pistol look again for the Knights. Morrill in the backfield. Maybe he'll punch it in here for the 2-point conversion, but if they have two receivers to the far side of the field. They fake it to Morrill. Crossing route here to Krapuchettes. And he secures it for the 2-point conversion.
Nice job by the quarterback there, just being patient, letting it develop, make that defender decide between the quarterback with the ball or being out in coverage, chooses wisely, and makes the most of it.
So 58-12 the score now as Logos has blown this open. And they were going to a running clock there, which is why the quarter ended. It is now a 46-point lead for Logos, and I believe once it's past 40, then it can come into a running clock consideration.
Correct, and so it's really Timberline's call in this situation where they can have a running clock and continue to play, or they can say, okay, that's enough, and we're going home. So,
which for Timberline, they have a smaller roster. They could consider that, but as of right now, it looks like we're just getting ready to the fourth quarter here.
And without a doubt, it's Coach Christofferson's call here, and you respect either way he goes with this. He's got to get some more experience for his guys. He put in his second-string quarterback, and they're battling. They're still battling. They're not giving up by any stretch of the imagination. This gives Logos the opportunity to play some younger guys that they've been looking at in the fall camp, and they will be playing some JV games, but at the same time, with everybody here and the PAs here, Idaho Sports is here, gives them an opportunity to get out here.
Yeah, how about those IdahoSports.com guys? You just can't say enough about them.
Yeah, boy. Hamburgers, French fries, water, front gate parking spot. Logos treated you right.
Yep, we're getting the VIP treatment here, and we'll have to pass that along to Paul Kingsbury, the owner and operator of Idaho Sports. Let's do more games here. So the fourth quarter is about to get underway, and it will be a running clock. So it'll essentially be around 12 minutes left in this game. Obviously, timeouts will stop the clock, but other than that, the clock will just continue to run no matter what. Incompletions, ball out of bounds, it'll be running. And for Logos, they're set to kick off once again, as they've done a lot of that today. Kicking off is Liev Comas, the senior. Comas is kind of a tight end, wide receiver mix on offense, and on defense, he's in the secondary and linebacker spot.
And special teams kicker.
Kicker.
He's a Idaho Sports Player of the Game because he's done all three facets so well.
Well, we've got a lot of good contributors to run through. Comas kicks it into that second level. This time they go at number 7, and he's got an open field here. Excellent tackle there by Comas, the kicker / linebacker. So that was to Darren Bonner, who had an excellent return there, and the ball's going to end up in Logos territory.
Looks like we're getting some fresh jerseys. Some of the numbers you've been saying a couple hundred times are kind of jogging off, and some new guys are kind of sprinkling out here for Logos.
Yep, as well as for the Spartans. In for the Spartans, we have number 11, Chris Cermontis, a junior. Back at quarterback is still Gavin Christofferson. At wide receiver, we've called this gentleman a couple times. Number 12, Tim Short, a freshman.
I think he's hoping he's going long on this one.
Absolutely. Not short.
Howard.
Howard's had a lot of the receiver coverage today. And it is incomplete. The intended target took a tumble as the ball was headed his way. That was number 88, Jason Mull, the intended target. And also good pressure there from that Logos front four as they were able to get some pressure in on the quarterback.
And that's why even if the clock's running and scores a little one-sided, you just keep playing out here because you're getting that experience, and both teams are getting a lot of value out of this.
Now, there's something that can be said for live reps against a quality opponent, and you don't want to waste that even if it's been a very disappointing day, which I'm sure Timberline is of that mindset. Pressure being shown by Logos. Christofferson takes the snap, throws it over the middle, and it's intercepted, tipped up into the air and caught by Seamus Wilson. Wilson runs down the right side of the field, and he's dragged down from behind. That's the tip drill right there, and there's a flag afterwards as that looked like a bit of a horse collar tackle.
Yeah, one of those where, like we mentioned, Timberline's trying to get some reps. With only 12 guys, it's hard to go 8-on-8. Maybe a garbage can, a coach, and a manager out there. So they're just trying to make the most of it. But hats off to Logos' defense. They're just not going to give anything up and making the most of that. And a new name gets called, and the penalty extends it even closer to midfield.
So let's take a look at who we have here for the Logos Knights. In number 20, Kenny Klein. Number 54, Ben Carlson, freshman. Number 14, Seamus Wilson, who just made the interception. It looks like he's in at quarterback. And now we've got a couple more. Number 77, who is not listed in the program. Will Evans, one of the fans in front of us here, helping us out. And number 72, Gus Grocky. In the backfield is number 55, Henry Sundley. And he's gotten his name called a couple times today on offense and defense. Two receivers to the bottom. Comas goes in motion. Wilson takes the snap and hands it off to Sundley, who gets past the line of scrimmage and not much more, but he's able to pick up 2 yards. And the clock is now rolling to the 8:30 mark. Comas now jogs to the sideline where he'll catch a breather. Well deserved. Second and 9, roughly. Pistol formation here for Logos. Wilson sends number 10, Ransom Sense, in motion. And they fake the handoff here. Seamus keeps it himself, tries to cut upfield. He does so, and he picks up a couple of yards here, gets it maybe a 6-yard gain. And that'll bring up 3rd and about 4.
Well, we mentioned this when Timberline had the ball. It's also beneficial for Logos to go through some reps here. Some of their young guys kind of picking their way through some competition and getting some positive things out of their game film as well.
3rd and 4, the spot for Logos to keep this drive alive. Ball is on the 38-yard line. Pistol set. Wilson sends number 10, Ransom Sense, in motion. Wilson fumbles the snap. And he's just going to have to fall on it smartly, but that's going to result in 4th down.
Well, it's because my handwriting is so weird.
So it's going to be 4th and 6. Ball is on the 41-yard line after that loss on the play. Wilson sends Sense in motion. Wilson just has to pick it up and run with it as he muffled the snap a little bit there. And it was a low snap, to be fair. And that's going to be a turnover on downs. And so the Logos defense will come back out. And Timberline will see if they can maybe put some points on the board here with just about 6 minutes to go. So halfway through the 4th quarter.
Yeah, it's really one of those where kind of counting how many guys you have. You see them shuffling in, shuffling out. You got to make sure you have 8 on defense now. And lots of guys want to get in there and telling their coach, hey, give me a rep. I want to get out there too. And got to make sure you don't have too many at one spot.
So 1st and 10, this drive will start for Timberline at the 42-yard line. Timberline comes out in a pistolized I formation, I'm calling it.
Coined phrase.
That's right. Trademark. And it's right off the face mask of the quarterback, Christopherson. And it looks like Timberline's able to fall on it, although there's a scuffle for the ball, and it will be Timberline. Seamus Wilson was in there battling it for it from Logos, as well as number 7 from Timberline. That was Darren Bonner.
Well, I think it went off of the quarterback's face mask, off of the defensive lineman's face mask, back to Bonner, then a little scrum.
Well, so that was too good of a snap, arguably.
Right. Talks about trademarks.
That's right. Christopherson, once again in the pistol. Wilson showing pressure. He brings it. And they meet the running back immediately in the backfield. Rylan West unable to get any momentum going as he's brought down in the backfield.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing when you have new guys in, and sometimes blocking assignments get a little jumbled up, and guys who are excited to be in there on defense sometimes have the advantage on that, and they go ahead and make a big play there.
So 3rd and long, 3rd and 15, the spot on the field. First down marker is just past the 50-yard line, so some work to do here for Timberline. That's just kind of the way it's been all day, unfortunately. 4 minutes to go here. Christopherson surveying the defense. Pressure being shown, and Logos will bring it. Christopherson has to jump, throw it, and it looked like it was caught. We'll see what the call is, and the ref is ruling it incomplete. The intended target there was number 88, Jason Mull. Excellent attempt there. He almost had that.
Yeah, I like the dedication by the quarterback going ahead and take the shot as he wants to get that first completion of the game.
Looked like Tim Tebow with that jump pass. So 4th and 15 now. And this is essentially, this could be it right here for Timberline.
Okay, so my dad was Chinese, my mom was Japanese.
3 minutes to go. And as we look ahead for Logos, their next contest is against the Genesee Bulldogs. And Genesee, obviously, hoping to get things going on the right foot. Has Genesee played their game yet, Jason?
They have not. They actually match up first game right here against, actually in Genesee against Logos, and they have a new coach as well.
Christopherson over the top to Short, and it's caught! Tim Short, the freshman. He will go the distance. Touchdown, Spartans.
I'm going to tell you right now, if Timberline comes back on this, that's my player of the game right
Tim
there.
Short.
Taking it long. Took all those punishing hits on that kick return stuff, and then he shows those sure hands.
What a play. 58-18 the score now after that touchdown pass to Short. And that was not short by any means. That was from the opposite 35-yard line. So that was easily a 60-yard bomb.
And if you're a Timberline fan, that's the reason why he kept playing. It's just kind of get some positivity for next week, because I believe they match up against Kamiai, and their opponent's been here watching the game.
Christopherson hands it up the middle to Rylan West, who dives forward, rolls his way into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. And they have cut the lead to 38.
Well, and showing some spirit. They aren't finished. Granted, the comeback is probably way too out of hand now, obviously, but still showing that spirit is for playoff team down the road, not necessarily today.
And the clock comes to a stop at 2:29. The clock will stop for scores. And as the teams get the kickoff units onto the field. But nonetheless, Timberline showing some spirit here. And, as we look ahead to Logos's next game, which is against Genesee, this has really got to give them some confidence, Jason.
It does have to give them confidence. And Genesee was here considering the fact they didn't have a game and it's Saturday afternoon for them to be here. So they actually got to put it on display as well. The fact that they're getting confidence, that they're really somebody you have to be respecting. And nice job on their part. And Genesee breaks in a new coach with Justin Podrapsky, and so that'll be kind of interesting to see what happens. And probably that middle battle we're talking about, where some of those teams, Prairie's the top probably until we start playing these games. But definitely one of those where some of these other guys are thinking, well, heck, they take 3. We could be one of them.
Absolutely. And then on the other side, Timberline, this is certainly not the way they wanted their season to start. But, a touchdown drive on their final drive potentially with the pass 65-yard touchdown to Tim Short. And they've done some good things today. They were able to piece together a couple good drives here and there. What are they taking with them as they prepare for CAMI next week?
Well, I'm pretty sure that Coach Christofferson's thinking the last 4 games, last 5 games, those are the ones you have to win. And so there's some offense, defensive line stuff that's worked. They've had some plays that have hit, even when the game was really close. And really one of those things where there's going to be some film that they're going to want to look at a lot with a positive attitude, and then some they're just going to want to scratch out of the way and probably work on conditioning, because with this many guys, they're going to have to keep playing all the time.
And an onside kick attempt here. It bounced off a Logos Knights, and Timberline has a chance to recover this. And we'll see as they unpack this who came out with the ball. Timberline seems to think they got it.
And we got an arm that it is.
And we do. Timberline ball off the onside kick. And the scoreboard is it's tied up 11-11. Things just change dramatically here. No, the scoreboard is going to be adjusted here, but nonetheless, 58-20 the score. Timberline now another chance to maybe work on some concepts on offense.
And to shore up some things on defense. I know these are the younger kids for Logos, but they're not going to want to ever give anything to the offense. They're friendly, but not that friendly. And so it's really one of those where they're going to want to make sure that they don't get beat over the top here again by small.
So 1st and 10, ball on the 48-yard line. Timberline. Christofferson pitches it to West. West is met immediately in the backfield, so that's going to be a loss of 2 or 3 yards. So excellent response there from this Logos defense.
Yeah, right on cue. Again, those guys are thinking, okay, if we need a sub, they want to be out there next week in Genesee.
So we are now under a minute, 55 seconds away from Logos claiming a historic victory at the varsity level. First ever game, first win. Not a bad record to start things off with.
Not a bad one, but definitely one they're going to want to build off, considering now that they've shown so much promise that who knows what their ceiling could be.
30 seconds. Christofferson in the gun. Takes the snap, surveys his options, and it's another deep ball to Short. And it's caught by Short again. He jukes all the defenders, and he's in the open field. Touchdown. Tim Short. Unbelievable effort here in the second half.
Got to be a fan favorite.
Tim Long is his new name. And not a bad way to end things here for Timberline, even though the scoreboard does not favor them. The clock did hit 0. We'll see if the referees are going to let them finish this 2-point conversion here. And they will do the 2-point conversion. So they could make this a 58-28 point, or 58-28 point game. And they do. Oh, it looked like they had Rylan West, but the hit jarred it free. So good defense there. That was well, that is going to do it, folks. That is the end of the game here in Moscow, Idaho, as the Logos Knights cap off a very very end-to-end victory here, 58-26, the final score. And Jason, as we touched on numerous times, this was their first ever varsity game, and what a way to start things off.
Without a doubt, and it showed the fact that they do have a lot of experience, even if this was the first one, and they showed a lot of poise today with all those emotions and the heat, and hats off to them.
Absolutely. Folks, we're going to step away for just a moment here. Jason and I got some things to talk about as far as the IdahoSports.com player of the game. We'll be right back after these messages.
Next play, the number 10, Thompson.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here from Moscow, Idaho, as the Logos Knights just wrapped up an impressive and historic victory, winning their first ever varsity matchup, 58-20 against 58-26 against the Timberline Spartans. Jason, that was just a end-to-end victory for Logos.
Yeah, excellent. They came right out of the blocks. They did their jobs right off the bat. They took advantage of the opportunities they were given, and then they went ahead and went right after it. And then they never really let up, and they did it both halves. It was really a situation where they went ahead and got after them at the beginning, and they went ahead and battled all the way through it. On the other side of that would be Timberline, and they kind of showed quite a bit of poise there at the end after it was already against them, and it was really a situation where they had they probably had to get back in the heart and the playbook a little bit there, but hats off to guys like Small that went ahead and filled in, and even after the scoreboard was all one-sided, they went ahead and battled right through it.
And kind of a cool moment there as we're wrapping things up. Logos finishing things off with the doxology, as they are a classical Christian school here in Moscow, and that was a pretty powerful moment there. So we had a couple of key performances from both sides of the field here. Let's talk about Timberline first. We don't want to forget about them. They had some excellent performances on that side of the field. Who are some guys that jump out to you?
They did. I think Christofferson on the offensive and defensive line was big, like we've mentioned, and then the quarterback did his work, Parker Brown, right? And the fact that he was somebody who made a lot of things happen just out of gumption and grit, and it was really one of those things where he never quit on the game at all. None of them really did. So Coach Christofferson really has a lot of guys, a lot of stuff over there that he can work with, and again, I think they're battling for late October. The fact that their season's at the end of the year, he just has to keep their confidence and their whole system based on that. They play a lot of D1 schools similar to this. Logos is more than double the size of Timberline. Old opponents from basketball, volleyball, and all that. And so their goal is in the second half of the season, not the first half of the season.
And then from Logos' side of things, obviously you and I have picked an IdahoSports.com player of the game, but there were some other guys that we should not go without mentioning. Who are a couple of those guys that jumped off at you?
I'd start too with Coach Holloway with the whole sense that this is the first one. Sometimes you get all wrapped up in all of that. Do we have somebody with lemonade? Who's getting the ice and all those things? So hats off to him. He used to be an official in this league, and he did an awesome job at that. And he just rolled that right into here. He and his whole staff and lots of guys in the crowd who've helped these guys in junior high and high school. So hats off to him. Obviously, it's one of those where they have a number of skilled guys that can do their thing. Craycraft was somebody from the offensive line who did a good job and did his work. Howard, we've mentioned him on receiving on a couple of those, got the ball short and took it long, as well as on the defensive side where he was able to play good close coverage and shut down a lot of the things that Timberline was hoping to do. So there's a lot to list for sure.
Absolutely, but there's one that jumped at the screen onto us for Jason and I, and this is the IdahoSports.com player of the game for Logos, number 43, Aiden Elmore. Jason, talk about him and what impact he had on the field today.
Well, he's the kind of kid, I don't know him in the classroom or the hallways, but he's the kind of kid from a football coach's standpoint you want to build off of. He's kind of an every kind of guy. He's somebody who's doing it on the defensive side. He had his inside linebacker position. He's in coverage. He's He's making the plays. He's getting a couple of key sacks or loss of yard downs right there. He's somebody who was able to do it on special teams, where he took one to the house early when it looked like Timberline might be able to crawl their way back into it. And he's somebody who was, as a receiver, who was able to take, again, those short passes or some of those, you got the first down and he goes ahead and takes it all the way to the house. So, he's definitely somebody you're going to want to use as a feature of your program for sure.
And that does it here, folks, for us at IdahoSports.com. Jason and I we're happy to bring you guys 2 broadcasts here from District 2. First, Lewiston taking down Kuna Friday night. And here, Logos wrapping up their first ever varsity game in style, 58-26 against Timberline. Jason, where are we next week? Are we back in Lewiston again?
We are in Lewiston 1 week from today. Saturday night, under the lights, Madison, who's playing this afternoon, I believe, in the Rocky Mountain Rumble, Utah versus Idaho in the south. Going to make that big bus drive all the way up north to play Lewiston, who got a nice win against Kuna last night. And so we're going to see some excellent football at the 5A level. So we're just bouncing around 1A Division 2, all the way back up